What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we got a couple smaller stories, not much going on right now. We got Disney concerned about high prices as guests' intent to return drops. Okay, we got Xbox analyst chart shows only 7% of games launched with Play Anywhere support in 2024, a decline year over year. We're going to watch a video from Force Gaming talking about 2025 is a huge year for ARPGs, so we're going to watch that video and see what games are coming out for that. And obviously, if any stories break or if any other stories that are interested, or if we go down the rabbit hole during the show, that's all part of the show. So appreciate it very much. If you like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until about noon Eastern. We just get you through a couple of hours of your day. I appreciate you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. Jason says State of Play just announced for tomorrow at 5 p.m. So there you go. So we'll have news. If it's tomorrow at 5, then we'll talk about it Thursday morning. So what's going on, Eclipse? What's going on, Kylo, Roic, Waterbear, Ward, Akuta Papa, Jason? Good morning. Eclipse says even when 30 says he's going to be late, he never is. It is very hard for me, Eclipse, to be late. The reason I tell you, because I'm on time all the time, if I'm ever late, people will be like, is something okay? Is something wrong? So I just make sure that I say, hey, I might be late this morning, just in case. But look, there's a couple things that you can guarantee in life, okay? Death, and that I'm on time, okay? Death is guaranteed, and me being on time, it's guaranteed. I feel like even though I'm a small content creator, the people that come and watch me every single day, I owe it to you, okay, for your membership, for your time, that I'm on time every single day, okay? I got to turn on a fan real quick because I just had a walk, and that's why I thought I was going to be late. My wife had to take the car. We have one car. She had to go to her checkup for doctors. So she dropped me off at breakfast. I had my breakfast at my local place, and then I walked home, right? It was a good, nice, brisk walk that I had. So give me 1 second. All right. What's going on, Cap? Crowded House, Water Bear. I already said it. Hilly, good morning. Morning, Dog. What's going on? It's an industry thing, 30. You're late when you're 5 minutes early. Yeah. So because I worked in the industry for 20 years, and those of you that are new in the channel didn't know, I worked in the film industry for 20 years. So when call time was 4 o'clock in the morning, I was there at 3:30. Okay. If the call time was 2 a.m., I'm there at 1:30. I'm constantly early, because if you're on time, you're late, and if you're early, you're on time. That's my mentality. Let's see here. There is not 30 standard time. It's the time. Exactly right. It's exactly right. Good morning, Sam. What's going on? What's going on, Robert Jones? Next time, run home. Get a good run in for the day. I'm not a big running person anymore. I used to run a lot. My knees, if you know how this works, Water, because I don't run a lot, when I do run, I'll be incapacitated for it'll hurt me for days, right? So I'm slowly building up to it. I ride bikes. I go for walks, but I try not to do the impact on my knees because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's that moment when you're like lifting weights or something. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna go for 250. You go for 250, and then you pull something. You're like, I should have just stuck with 225. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. That's right. You got to make sure. I wish I could be more on time. Well, that's easy, Saint. Just do it. Just do it. I yell at my son all the time. Like right now, he's 10 years old. I think it sort of clicked into him like just a couple weeks ago because mom is incapacitated right now. So like she wakes him up in the morning and she kind of like, what moms do. They coddle, right? Well, because mom can't get up in the mornings now, and I got to get up earlier to get him up. He's up, he's ready, he's dressed, right? Like and we're leaving the house 15 minutes earlier. 15 minutes earlier, which in mine, that means I can get to my breakfast place 15 minutes early, which means I can come home 15 minutes early, which means I can get shit done, right? So it's this constant, you know, you want to call it berating, right? Training, right? Training my son to be like, this is what it's like to be on time. So now he wakes up in the morning, he gets stuff ready, and he's walking around going, I'm ready. I don't know what to do. I'm like, good. Sit down, read a book, watch TV, do something. Buddha Papa says, I had a friend who was always late. We started saying that he's Jane Doe standard time. It's just expected lateness. I wouldn't be a friend with him, Buddha Papa. I wouldn't be a friend. I had a buddy of mine in the business, used to hire me all the time for jobs. And he would tell me call time is like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then he's strolling at like 15 after, a quarter after, half hour after the call time. And then it would be like, and I'm just like, I actually said it to him straight up because you guys know me. I'm pretty blunt. I was like, do me a favor. I was like, if you're going to hire me for a job, make sure you're here before I am. I said, otherwise, don't call me for the job. A clip says, look at Kevin Hart. He looks like he's in prime shape. Pulled something when he ran. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. I know my limits. Water Bear says 30. Apparently, we just updated the rivals. When the second half of the season begins, there will be no rank reset. Players will retain their ranks and scores from the end of the first half. Well, that's good. I was under the assumption they were going to do that anyway. And then when I heard they were going to reset it, I was like, oh, they're resetting at the halfway point. But then they backtracked on that, so it's going to keep the same. But it says, always early for anything I do, and if I'm going to be late, I get an annoying itch. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. What's going on, Argus? What's going on, Roadkill? So the thing that you posted last night, Water, about the asthma gold thing. Yeah, well, here, we'll bring this up. I'll bring this thing that you just posted. The thing you brought up about asthma gold, we went over that video with Legendary Drops like a week ago. Here, I'll read this. Those of you that are Marvel Rivals guys, we'll read this real fast. Get that nice and centered. Dev Talk season rank adjustments. Okay, so this is for Marvel Rivals. Let me get it nice and big for you because I know some of you guys are real old, right? You're old. Maybe older than me, right? So here you go. After release of Dev Talk 10 regarding seasonal rank adjustment, we received a wealth of feedback from the community. Common concern of the pressure associated with having a rank reset every half season, which has made participating in competitive modes less enjoyable. In the light of community input, we've decided to make some changes to optimize the rank system. Here are the details. The first half of the season will be still concluded on February 21st, and players at gold rank will receive the custom reward, as well as the Crest of Honors for those at Grandmaster and above, and the Crest of Honor for the top 500 one above all. 2, when the second half of the season begins, there will be no rank reset. Players will retain their ranks and scores from the end of the first half to earn new rewards, and players simply need to complete 10 matches in competitive mode to meet the relevant conditions by the end of the season. Rewards will include a new gold rank custom, a variety of crests and honor features, distinct design of Grandmaster, Celestial, Eternity, and also one of above all. Okay? We strive to make Marvel Rivals the best game it can be, and the community has driven the force behind this mission. Please stay tuned for more official channels for more updates in the second half of the season, and your engagement and support mean the world to us, and we're excited to continue the journey together. Look, I think it's a smart choice, right? Because a lot of people, but then I can also, let me put my 2 cents in here. I can also see the other people going, oh man, it's too hard for someone to catch up if you start late in the season to become in the top 500, right? Like the people that get in that top 500 are probably going to keep their, 1 might go to 5 or 5 might go to 10 or something like that. But for the most part, you're not going to get someone that's like 2,000th up in the 500 rank. Okay. So I can see this being even harder for people to be like, I missed it. So I'm not even going to attempt to try to get into the, but I think that's less likely than what if they resetted it. I think this is a good move. I think this is a good move, not resetting it for the people that feel like they're rushed and they have to, you know what I mean? I don't know. Sarge says, make a super chat more than 50 characters, please. Okay. Just to let you guys know, thank you very much, Sarge, for the $2. All my super chats, even though it says 1 of 5, all my super chats for this year, I'm gonna put in a fund to go for a computer, right? Because I want to get a computer. This computer is 8 years old. I don't want to update this computer anymore. I want to build a brand new computer. Because I think meal piecing this stuff together, I think I need a bigger case. The case is not big enough for the stuff that I need, or I say the stuff that I want. So anytime you guys do a super chat, that super chat is going to go towards a computer fund. Hopefully sometime later this year or so. Saint says, I feel like you're onto something. My boss barely ever shows up. If he does, it's like 11. I mean, I wouldn't work for him. That's just me, though, Saint. I can't work for people that don't respect. Like, you're asking me to show up, but yet you're not showing up. I can't work for you. Crowded House says Human Torch sounds like he's gonna break the game, and the thing sounds underwhelming. I don't know if he's gonna break the game. I look, it's just like any new gun being in a first-person shooter game house. The new weapon needs to be cool so people start playing it. I think it's a little different here because if people want to use Human Torch, they're going to use them or use the thing because they are the new characters. But yeah, if he's broke, I think the team ups can. I think they balanced it. I'm gonna trust in the developers that they balanced it compared to the team mechanics, right? So maybe he's OP, but there is a counter for him, and you just got to figure out what that counter is. Buddha Papa says 30. I totally get it. My best friend. And it was a soft bully. He's always on time now, unless something actually major happens. Crowd says this game does a great job of balancing. I doubt the thing is bad, and the Human Torch is OP. Yeah, a lot of people look. Anything's going to be OP in the very beginning because people are not going to know how to counter it. People are not going to know how to do certain things. Look, people thought Mr. Fantastic was underwhelming, and he's not underwhelming. He's actually really good if you know how to use him. And I think the team ups change the whole dynamics of stuff, because if someone's OP, but then you have that, again, the paper to rock or rock to scissor, then no one's OP because everyone's OP and everyone's not OP. Spend more, get more. Robert Jones says, I think $5 gets you 150 characters. Is that true? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if you're being serious, Jones. If you pay $5, you get more. I don't know if that's a thing. If you guys know if that's true, I have no idea. Jason says, I gotta grind one more level for gold. I played last night after I got done playing Eternal Stranded. I did nine things in 3 matches. That's what I like about Marvel Rivals. It respects my time. It respects my time. Water Bear says, that's one thing I can say Rivals does a great job of balancing characters. I thought Captain America would be a handicap, but I can do it all day. One of the best characters in the game. Last night, Water, I had a battle with another Captain America. So I did a match just for my dailies, and I was Captain America, and he was Captain America, and every time he fought, it was just a one-on-one battle. We would go off to the side and just start hitting each other. It was cool, and without ever communicating, he knew, right? And I knew. We were like, as soon as he saw and connected eyes with each other, we started fighting each other. It was so cool. It was so cool. That little moment right there. Yeah, you get more characters to the more super chats. I didn't know that, Kylo. So that's good to know. That's good to know. Hilly says, PC money, $5. Hilly, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. The Queen's currency. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's the actual currency. That's real money. That's real money. Original money? I don't know. Good morning, Wonder Rose. Arga says, yeah, the higher amount you spend on, the higher the character limit is for super chats, and the longer it stays on the top of the chat. I did not know that. That's good to know. Crowded House says his team up is with Storm as well, as if she needed to be stronger. Well, remember, next season they do change the team ups. They do change the team ups. Yeah, team ups are meant to be OP. That's exactly right. Robert Jones says $5 is definitely a threshold. A threshold. Oh, is the threshold for the 150 characters. Gotcha. Eclipse says, wow, you two paid to win super chats. Good job. Pay to win. I got it. Let me read that again. Wow, YouTube. Pay to win super chats. Good job. I got it. I got it now. Argus says, I'm 15 minutes late to work every day. I'm secretly Mike's old friend who got rid of punctuality is not my specialty because I stay up way too late, like a degenerate. I stay up way too late and I get up way too goddamn early, Argus. Look, I totally understand why people are late. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm the guy who gets annoyed. Who was the guy that got to the movie theaters first and had to save seats for everybody else? Right? Who was that in chat? That was me. And you know what? I said, fuck them. I stopped caring when my friends said, yeah, let's go to the movies. We'll meet you there at whatever o'clock. You know, I get there, no one shows up, and I have like 10 seats I have to save. I said, you know what? Fuck it. Right? I stopped saving seats. I got my seat, and if they didn't show up on time, someone would go, is anyone sitting here? I'm like, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Right? That was a thing back in the day. You had to save seats in the theater. Now you just reserve your seats. Jack says, is Marvel's Rivals what Overwatch should have been? More of the same. Yeah. Waterbear says, check out the quick Thor vs. Hulk 1v1 posted in general chat. All right, give me a second. Where's the in general chat? Where's the 1v1 in general chat? Post that in our general chat? Oh, I see it. I see it. I love this. I love it. It's like a schoolyard circle. I love this. But go ahead, get him. Come on, Hulk. What are you doing? Don't be a bitch. This is Beta Hulk. This is Beta Hulk. Come on. Yeah, that's Beta Hulk. Is Iron Fist gonna come in and melt him? Oh no, he's gonna melt him too? That's funny. I probably should have muted that because now they're probably gonna hit me with that. That's funny. Argus says $500 gets you 350 characters. What? Yeah, 50 characters for $2, 350 characters for $500. Really? Jesus. 500. I didn't know it went that high. Yeah, 500 is crazy, Jones. Please, nobody ever do that. I would feel sick to my stomach and I would refund it because that's ridiculous. That's a lot of Game Pass. That's a lot of Game Passes and subscription services. When they add PvE, it's going to bring even more players. I'm telling you, they should have brought PvE from the beginning and Overwatch would be dead. Dead. 1920s saving seats in cinemas, classic. Yeah, I'm telling you, that was the worst. You had to bring like sweaters. First, what you would do, right? You would stand up and you would put your sweater across as many seats as possible. Then you would sit in a chair, then kind of put your leg up on the next one. And then every time someone came, they're like, oh, can I sit here? Like, no, I'm saving it. They went to the bathroom. They're in the snack bar. Hal says, hey, Mike, did you hear about the law that went to pass that the force movie theaters to put a real start time on the movies? Yeah, so much so. You mean this one right here? Oh, I hit the wrong button. You mean this one right here? Yeah, I'm gonna read it. I saw it and I was like, oh, I might read this at the end. Yeah, I did see it. You know what I really hate? You know what I really hate about people not being on time? Fucking doctors. Doctors. If you're a doctor, okay, you tell me that my appointment's at 5 o'clock and I have to get there 15 minutes early, and then 5 o'clock comes and I'm still in the waiting room, you're an asshole. I'm gonna send you a bill, okay, for wasting my time. Okay, if you tell me to get there 15 minutes early because my appointment's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I get there at 2:45 and then 3 o'clock comes and I don't get in until 3:15, up yours. Okay, I'm gonna send you a bill. I'm gonna deduct you. You're gonna be like, your copay is $50. I'll be like, nah, it's gonna be $25 today because your ass was late. Waterbear says, what if the PvE is like the Ultimate Alliance? They already have the team up abilities in the game. Dude, I'm telling you, if it's a battle, just a boss fight, it's not going to be enough. It's going to be fun as fuck, but it's not going to be enough. Okay, they need to put an actual proper PvE, like give me the Ultimate Alliance ability, like experience, but in that third person mode instead of the top down type of thing. Robert Jones says, yeah, let's start invoicing people for being late and see what they do. No, I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious. I have said that to the actual doctor. I was like, hey, do me a favor. When you tell me to be here, I was like, I would like you to be on time as well. I don't care if you have other people. You're late. And they're late, and then if that person's late, then it makes me later. You know what I'm saying? Be on time. Or have the decency to come in and be like, we're going to be a little late because, you know, we have another patient in there. It's, you know, a little bit of a Karen. Right? They just move you from one waiting room to the next waiting room, and then you sit there, and you're in quiet. You're listening to that shitty music. You're like, I guess I'll play Clash of Clans on my mobile phone. Right? Maybe that's it. Maybe doctors are in cahoots with gaming apps like Apple Store. So if you're waiting in the waiting room, you're playing Apple, and they get a percentage of that. Maybe that's the connection. Someone do some research on that. I'm making bullshit up as I go, but that seems like it'd be plausible. They have you come in and going. Not only are the doctors in cahoots with the pharmacies, but they're all in cahoots with Apple and Google Android store. Yeah. What's going on, Mo? All right, let's see what we got here. Let's start off with this this first story here. Xbox analysts chart shows how only 7% of games launched with Play Anywhere support in 2024, a decline year over year. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button. If you don't like it, hit any other button. Okay, if you want to go above and beyond that, become a subscriber. We do live streams, uploads, podcasts. We got gameplay. We got multiple channels. We make AI music. We do a bunch of different stuff. And if you want to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so this Xbox analyst chart shows how only 7% of games launched with the Play Anywhere support in 2024, a decline year over year. It says, yesterday, I wrote a piece of showcase the problems with Microsoft's current gaming strategy. All right, who wrote this, first of all? Let's see this. This is made by Jez Gordon. Okay, Jez Gordon with Windows Central. Okay. So yesterday, Jez Gordon wrote a piece of showcasing a problem with Microsoft's current gaming strategy, which has ditched exclusive Xbox games in favor of service and features differentiators. Okay, common sense would suggest that the fewer exclusive games, fewer people will want an Xbox console, which means fewer developers will want to make Xbox games, which means fewer people will want Xbox consoles, etc. Microsoft doesn't seem to worry, or perhaps doesn't care, as it continues to put in former exclusives like Forza Horizon 5 onto PlayStation. Now, I don't know what Jez says for the rest of the article. We'll read that in a second, but I want to give you my thoughts on just that first paragraph, okay? So when he says common sense would suggest that fewer exclusive games means fewer people, okay, will want to buy Xbox consoles, which is true, which in a world where if we were still playing in 1990s or early 2000s where you needed a box because it had a physical disc, I would 100% agree with what Jez is saying, okay? But in reality, we don't live in those worlds anymore. We live in a world of digital cloud streaming, and you don't need to actually own the game anymore. Okay? So when it says that fewer people will want to buy Xbox consoles, which means fewer developers will want to make Xbox games, which means fewer people will want Xbox consoles, etc., right? Microsoft doesn't seem to care. No, they care, okay? And they want to make money off the consoles, hence why they didn't stop making consoles, hence why they made consoles with no disk drives, why they made consoles with disk drives, okay? Why they're in the cloud, why they're on your LG TV, why they're on the Amazon Fire Stick, why they're on the Samsung televisions, why they're... You see what I'm saying? So I think this is being a little off-putting here. Not off-putting, that's the wrong word. But I think where he's going is in the wrong direction. Because if it was just hardware, then yeah, they would be in problems. But we're not into just hardware. There's a digital world, okay? That's like saying his article right now, because it's on the internet, right? It wouldn't make it because it's not in print, which means less people want to buy it because it's not in print. Well, that's not true, right? People get it off the internet, which is digital, okay? And some people charge subscription models, looking at you, Jason Schreier, okay? And Forbes, okay? Like, that's what they're doing. Not that they don't want to sell less, they want to sell more. So in the old days, they used to give you a newspaper, but now they don't give you a newspaper. Now they went to the internet and gave you the newspaper, and you pay a subscription model for the newspaper to be delivered through your email. It's amazing. Okay. To that end, Xbox head Phil Spencer previously described how Xbox has more users than ever on console. And Xbox ecosystem features Xbox Cloud Gaming continue to grow for the platform. Indeed, Microsoft says that Xbox will also acquire users via a feature differentiator in the future, which things like Xbox Game Pass, backwards compatibility, and Xbox Play Anywhere. While Play Anywhere is particularly exciting, giving Xbox users the ability to take their games and save files to other devices. For me personally, the promise is being able to take the Xbox save files to my phone via the cloud, Lenovo Legion Go, or PC gaming handheld is what keeps me inside the ecosystem. The problem is that so very few high-quality games actually support this functionality. After my post last year, a user reached out to me and shared the analyst from Omedia, GameDeveloper.com, which offers an actual breakdown for how few new games actually support Xbox Play Anywhere year over year. So here in this chart, it says share for Xbox console games launching with Play Anywhere support 2020 to 2024. So 2020, okay, it says note 2024 proportions include software releases between January and November. Okay, so no, 88%. 12% of games were Play Anywhere. Then it was 10%. Then it was 8%. Then it was 13%. Then it was 7%. And when I look at this, though, is that those are the games that came out that year that are Play Anywhere, which I would assume, and again, I'm just making assumptions here. I don't know what the rest of the article says. So it was down 8% and then went up to 13%. And again, I'm going to look at it as the way that they updated the 60 frames, the way they updated the, 60 frames, also just games working in backwards compatibility and stuff like that. They add more and more as they go. So the games that were short this year, they updated the following year and it went up, right? Again, this is year over year. And then now the new games are less because more games came out last year than the year before, and so on and so forth, right? You got to remember also the games that were here in this time frame, they were delayed because of COVID, right? And it took a 2-year delay. So 2020 to 2022, which then goes to 2023. So more games came in. I would actually say that, yeah, it's on a decline year over year, but I don't know if it's as bad as they're trying to make it sound. And I'm not trying to, say that it's not bad. I'm just saying justification of it was probably because of the digital, because it's on Game Pass, they can update these games backwards compatibility and Play Anywhere at a later date. They don't have to do it at launch. Okay. It says, as you can see, a percentage of the games supporting Play Anywhere actually declined almost by half in 2024 year over year, as it remained relatively flat for the past 5 years. Now, the chart of a bit of a indictment of it to how the feature is going so far. Developers don't seem to see the value in it, only opting in as part of the marketing deal for Xbox or a tie-in with Xbox Game Pass. Capcom titles, Monster Hunter Rise, Exoprimal only went into Xbox Play Anywhere because of the marketing deals. The bigger titles like Monster Hunter Wilds or Resident Evil 8 are nowhere to be seen. And I would say yet, right? I would say yet. Maybe not at launch. Again, if they have deals, and again, I'm being speculative here, and I don't know if this is what they're doing, but the deal for the contract that they had for Exoprimal Monster Hunter Rise, they said, well, we had to have this at the marketing deal, and it's a Play Anywhere. It didn't turn out for them, right? So they're like, oh, you know what? A percentage of people are not really playing it. It's still there, right? You can still buy consoles, but a lot of people are not buying consoles because they're playing digital. You can still Play Anywhere if it's a feature that you actually want to use, but not everyone wants to use Play Anywhere, right? But at the same time, if they're not under contract, they're like, yeah, we'll just get it out now, get the game out there. And if people want it, then we'll work on it afterwards and add it later. Sort of like what Halo did for co-op and split screen and everything else, right? So Microsoft-owned games generally support Xbox Play Anywhere out of the box for the most part, but many don't. I had to buy a recent Diablo 4 expansion twice for PC and Xbox, for example, despite the fact that it has cross-save support. He says, if developers don't see a value of Xbox Play Anywhere or aren't incentivized to organically support it, I would argue that it's not a compelling differentiator as Microsoft seems to think it is. Indeed, Microsoft based an entire marketing campaign called the Xbox late last year around Play Anywhere, which suggests that users skip out on buying Xbox console in favor of laptops and smartphones. Judging by Xbox's hardware declines year over year, it seems that they're listening, except that the amount of high-quality games of the Xbox phones and laptops are vanishingly few compared to full-blown Xbox console, which also Microsoft apparently seems less interested in actually selling than ever. Microsoft is building out a new hardware for next gen, which is also potentially bringing Xbox Windows PC closer together than ever before. Could it be that the Xbox Play Anywhere becomes obsolete when the developer environment is simply Windows next gen? And the vision is amazing and exciting, but so far, the execution has been frustratingly underwhelming. Well, he did say that their first-party games, okay, are, Play Anywhere. Now, obviously, Diablo 4 wasn't a Xbox title originally. They were working on it before they bought it. So technically it was a third party that they bought, which is now a first party title. So I would assume that's why Diablo 4 doesn't work with Play Anywhere at that time. All right, maybe it will down the line. But I feel like their own games, they make it Play Anywhere, which is an incentive for people of their own ecosystem, right? If you buy an Xbox game, you can play it here, you can play it there, you can play it anywhere. If it's a third party and they make them, they're forcing them to make it, which that's on the third-party publisher itself. Now, maybe they're not incentivized. Maybe they don't see it. Again, it's really hard to lead when no one understands what you're trying to do. If Xbox puts their, and again, this is just my opinion, if they put their first-party titles like they're doing, where it works Play Anywhere, and the third parties are like, I don't really see a benefit of it yet, until more people start getting this service or more people are starting to play other places in the console. I don't think this is a make or break, do or die moment for third-party companies making things that may Play Anywhere for Xbox. I think this is more of a let's wait and see what happens. And if it starts to lean that way, well, then we'll go that way. But it's not really going to hurt us if it's not Play Anywhere anyway. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about the Play Anywhere, where it's 7%, which is a drop from 13% the year before? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. What do you guys think about this? Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, Waterbear says, I can tell you what the headline will read off of the single story. If Xbox Game Pass dying, you know it's coming. It'll take things and run with it. Argus says, Game Pass is fine. Microsoft is ultra rich. Microsoft also specializes in software, and Game Pass is all software. Argus says, Game Pass. Game Pass. Sarge says, this article is trying to say we are going backwards. Oh, this article is trying to say that we're going backwards. Eclipse says, I swear if PlayStation is down again this weekend, I'm going to sell my PlayStation 5. I got into the network test to Elden Ring. For the PvP thing. And I'm also making plans with friends to play it all Friday night. I don't think it'll... If it dies 2 weekends in a row, that'll be bad. That would be bad. I bought Diablo once. I have it on PC and Xbox. So if yours is working, why isn't his working? Right? But did they add that from the launch? Did you buy it at the launch, dog, or did you buy it afterwards? I guess that's my question. Here he says he bought it. It doesn't say if he bought it. It says Microsoft owned game really support Xbox. You must part, but many don't. I had to buy recent Diablo 4 expansion twice. So recently, Diablo 4 expansion twice for PC and Xbox. So does anybody else buy Diablo 4 expansion like he did and has to buy it twice? Kuda Papa says 30 if you have Game Pass Ultimate when you have Play Anywhere for hundreds of games. Cliff says I'm probably going to do that anyway. I actually been thinking about because the PlayStation Plus is about to run out, and I've been waiting for play my old 360 games on the new Xbox. Okay. Sarge says when you pay, I play. When you pay, I play. Robert Jones says it's great when you deliver what you market. Right, which I think isn't that what Microsoft is doing though? They're marketing Play Anywhere, and their games are Play Anywhere. Am I wrong there? X Factor says I bought it twice, once on PC and once on PlayStation 5. Yeah, but that's not Play Anywhere. Play Anywhere is an Xbox thing, not Play Anywhere of if you buy it here on Xbox, you can play it on your PlayStation. That's not what that is, Factor. Their marketing is Play Anywhere, meaning if you buy it on Xbox, you can play it on PC and you can play it here, which you can play it on a mobile phone, or you can play it on your television. You can play it anywhere. Not Play it anywhere, meaning you're on the competitor's console. I don't believe the Play Anywhere affects it if it goes to PlayStation or Switch. If that's the way I read it. I could be wrong. Someone clarify or double check me. But I'm pretty sure the Play Anywhere incentive is for if you buy it on Xbox, you can play it on a PC, you can play it on a mobile device, you can play it in that ecosystem. I mean, obviously, I think if you bought it on PlayStation, you wanted to buy it on PlayStation, you were going to have to buy it again on Xbox. Eclipse says, because you had to buy it from the Microsoft Store, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't on the Microsoft Store when it first came out. Right. And he's talking about specifically the Diablo 4 expansion. With Game Pass, even the average gamer can afford to play almost every game that comes out a year without spending crazy. X Factor says, I'm old and confused. It's okay. I'm just trying to... I'm pretty sure the Play Anywhere... You know what? Let me look it up. Xbox Play Anywhere. What's the definition of Play Anywhere? Let's look it up, right? Okay, let's see. It's popping open. Well, I'm on. Okay, Xbox Play Anywhere. Now when you own an Xbox, Play Anywhere digital title, it's yours to play both on Xbox and Windows 10/11 PC. Yeah, so it's not saying Play Anywhere, meaning I could play it on my toaster oven, right? Obviously, you could if it was running a PC, right? You could play anywhere. Buy once, play anywhere. Purchase an Xbox Play Anywhere digital game. Play it on the Xbox, Windows 10/11 PC at no additional cost. Progress goes with you. Pick up where you left off on other Xbox or Windows 10 or 11 PCs. Bring all your saves, game add-ons, achievements with you. So yeah, it's not saying on your Switch, on your PlayStation. If you buy on Xbox, you can play it on PC and Xbox. Yeah. Dog says, bought it on PC when it was on Xbox. I didn't pay. Robert Jones says, Play Anywhere only makes sense in your ecosystem. Right. Okuda Papa says, I bought Starfield through Windows Store because I bought it there. I can play it on my PC, save game, close the game, and move on to my Xbox, open the game, and continue to from there where I left off. Right. You can also play it on your Xbox One, which is crazy because it's playing through the cloud, which is on the Xbox Series S, but you can still play Starfield on your Xbox One. Because we know multiple people that actually played Starfield on their Xbox One. Argus says Xbox Play Anywhere means play anywhere besides Nintendo and PlayStation. This includes PC, phones, tablets, television, fridges, washers, and dryers, gaming handhelds, non-competitor ones, and more. John McCord says to anyone in the market to buy a TV, opt not to buy Samsung nor Dolby Vision DTS audio support. What's going on there, John? Robert Jones says Xbox, PC, Windows Store, mobile, and cloud. Eclipse says, as long as it's on Microsoft Store, because it was thinking about buying a Space Marines, but it's not on the Microsoft Store. Z says, yes, it's not false advertising when it's a competitor, restricting you from playing Game Pass. Right. It's just in their own interior market. So going back to what Jez said, saying that play anywhere, I want to go back to what he said, because in his he said he bought it twice. I bought it twice for PC and Xbox. I want to know his situation. Did he buy it through Steam? Right? If you bought it through Steam, would you have to buy it again? Or do you have to buy it through the Microsoft Store, which is what Play Anywhere means? If you bought Diablo through Steam, that's not included in the Play Anywhere. Right? Again, it says purchase Xbox Play Anywhere digital game, play it on Xbox and Windows 10/11 PC. I'm assuming it means just through the Windows Store, not through Steam. X Factor says I just signed back up for Game Pass this month. Sarge says, so what's the deal with the handheld announcement for Xbox? What the fuck are they're trying to do? We don't know. It's a couple of months, years off, or whatever it is, Sarge. They had a handheld device at CES, but it was under closed doors or whatnot. Z says it's PC Game Pass with Xbox Store. It's not Steam Game Pass, free Xbox games. Yes, it's only through the Windows Store. Right, so what I'm saying, right, Eclipse, I think he has to be a little bit more transparent here when he's saying that Microsoft-owned games generally support Xbox Play Anywhere out of the box for the most part, but not many don't. I had to buy a recent Diablo 4 expansion twice for PC and Xbox, for example, despite the fact it was cross-save support. Now, you could do cross-save, but did he buy it? And he didn't say this if he bought it originally from the Windows Store or if he bought it from Steam. And if he bought it from Steam, then this whole thing is like thrown out because that's not right. You know what I mean? Steam is default, but Steam might be the default, but you would be saying something false though, Jones, right? And reporting it saying that if you bought it from Steam, that's not Play Anywhere. Akuta Papa says, 30, if you buy a Play Anywhere game on Steam, you have to buy it again. Hence why I bought Starfield on Windows Store and not Steam. Right. So again, a journalist, okay, saying something that he had to buy it, which he's trying to make a point, saying, look, I bought this, I had to buy this again because of my Play Anywhere, and it's not Play Anywhere. Well, it's not Play Anywhere because you bought it on Steam. Right, dog, but that's owned by Microsoft. Battle.net is Microsoft. Eclipse says, I agree, like he's being very safe with his words. It seems like they do that a lot with Xbox. Yeah, it's not being truthful for what he said. What he could say, it easily would say, look, he could have said in a sentence, don't be like me, I bought Diablo 4 expansion on Steam, which is not Play Anywhere. If you want to do Play Anywhere, you would have to buy it through the Windows Store. You see what I'm saying? But he didn't say that. He's saying that, well, Play Anywhere doesn't work. I've had to buy Diablo 4 twice for my PC and Xbox. Sarge says, wouldn't it stand to reason that Xbox handheld would just be like a Steam Deck? How else would they sell it? Everyone thinks that they're teaming up with Steam. So either Steam is coming to their handheld and Steam doesn't want to make a handheld. Maybe they didn't like the sales. And again, I'm speculating with this, Sarge, in any way, shape, or form. Steam Deck's sold like 4 million units. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's underperforming, right? And Steam, maybe they don't want to make a Steam Deck 2. Again, I'm just speculating here. There's rumors that Steam and Xbox or Microsoft are teaming up, okay? If that's putting Steam on the Xbox or Xbox is going on whatever, right? If Steam teams up with Windows, it would make sense if maybe Steam makes the handheld and then they put their software on Steam Deck thing, or Xbox makes the handheld and then Steam puts their software on their thing and then you can play both. Okay? That's what I would think they're trying to do. Is BNet included into Buy Anywhere? I would think it would be, Jones, because it's owned by Microsoft. Battle.net is Microsoft. Akuta Papa says 30. Microsoft has invested in buy the Windows Store. One buy many pieces of hardware and smart business decision on my part. Gabe is doing the Lord's work over there with the Steam again lately. Yep, breaking down people that if you have any kind of ads to watch for video games, they're pulling that shit out. Mo says Xbox handling needs to be a Series S in your hand and play native. Right. Morto says Robert Jones, Avowed will be the first play anywhere on Battle.net. I don't know if that's true, though, because Dog said he bought Diablo on Battle.net and it's play anywhere. Which I still think you're correct, though. If it's Avowed will be the first play anywhere on Battle.net, but maybe it's the first party, because again, Diablo wasn't first party, and then it is first party, right? Like, Avowed was built from the ground up in Microsoft, where Diablo wasn't. Eclipse says, I might be now, but it wasn't when I bought the Diablo 4. All right, so let's look this up, right? I want to look this up. So, players who purchase the game for either Xbox or Battle.net or have Game Pass Ultimate on PC, Game Pass membership can play on both Xbox and Battle.net by linking their Xbox and Battle.net accounts. There you go. Yeah. And that's, let me see. You'll need to link your Battle.net and Xbox accounts together before playing Blizzard games on GeForce Now. Once your accounts are linked, you can play these games by launching Battle.net version on GeForce Now if your Game Pass subscription remains active. And that is from Xbox support. And let's see, is there a date on this when they updated this? There's no date on when they did this. So, Dog, do you play Diablo through GeForce Now, or do you just play it through Battle.net? Like, you linked your system up, right? Switch It Up says, I thought Gabe hate Microsoft. I don't know the full story with the relationship with Microsoft. Can you tell me what happened? I don't know why Gabe would hate Microsoft. I know Gabe worked for Microsoft. I don't know if he hates it. I don't know that story. So I could make up something and tell you some bullshit, but I don't actually know it myself. I'll tell you what. Business, like, money talks and bullshit walks. So maybe Gabe hated working for Microsoft and had beef with them. But now that he's a multi-millionaire / billionaire and owns a company that owns a majority and monopoly of the PC gaming space, and he's got some power, I think you get over it real fast when you can make more money off of him. That's the way I look at it, Switch. Dog says, now, you're moaning about me buying 2 GTAs. Now, how things have changed. Yeah, I'm linked, played it on PC, and then I wanted to farm or chill. I go on Xbox. Okay, so now what Moro was saying, he's saying that Avowed will be the first play anywhere on Battle.net. Now, I don't know where's that from, Morto. You might be correct, and I'm not trying to call you out. I want to know where did you get that? If you can, I would love to show it on screen. You know what I mean? I heard this exists. Microsoft was loud. He cussed out the top at Microsoft, and I think he had something to do with it. I mean, that was what? He left like over 15, 18 years ago. Did he not? Let's see. Gabe Newell worked for Microsoft from 1983 to 1996. Oh, that's way long ago. He was a programmer and technical executive at Microsoft for 13 years. Yeah, that's that's like water under the bridge, right? The people that probably he cursed out are probably like retired or gone from the company. Yeah, I don't think there's beef there anymore. So this is confirmed now that he bought it on Steam, looked at it, at that all of your detective skills coming through. I mean, he had to buy it on Steam, right? Eclipse? For Jez to say that it's not play anywhere, he had to buy it on Steam, and he left that out of his article. I'm assuming there's no way he bought it through Windows or Battle.net, because if he did, okay, then he would have to report that, right? Maybe he just forgot to put that he got it from Steam, and that's why it's not play anywhere. I love Steam. I do love to see Xbox and Steam team up for things, and I think that they also both come to the table in a manner that also do dope stuff for gamers. Here's another thing. Switch it up. Phil Spencer's been on the record that him and Gabe talk all the time. They're literally right down the street from each other, okay, in Seattle. So I would assume they're not on bad terms. John McCord says Xbox, Adobe Vision, and DTS Samsung TVs do not so play anywhere. Initiative on Samsung isn't worth it if you care about having those options. Okay, so if you want play anywhere, don't buy the Samsung TV. Do you know if the play anywhere, does it work with the Fire Stick, and does it work with LG? And is it not play anywhere with that particular television? And in that television, is that one of the older models, or is that one of the newer models for the Samsung TVs, John? Yeah, let me see if I can find out. The Xbox console supports Dolby Vision and DTS, while some Samsung TVs do not, right? So it says right there, so do your research. I'm not saying you do your research. I'm telling people in general, do your research for the televisions. So you have to find out if your television, not all Samsung TVs work with it. So you gotta make sure certain TVs do and certain TVs don't. It says Xbox console supports Dolby Vision and DTS, while some Samsung TVs do not. So you got to make sure that some Samsung TVs do not support Dolby Vision. Samsung may argue that the HDR 10 Plus, which is helped developed, is as good as Dolby Vision and enabled Dolby Vision. So Play Anywhere doesn't work with all Samsung TVs. So make sure, if you do get a Samsung TV, do your research to find out which TVs it works for. And that's how, those of you, I see a lot of new faces or new names in channel. This is not one of these channels that shits on like stuff. We read news articles, we have conversations. The way it bounces back and forth, just like you guys are seeing, like you guys are brand new and I'm interacting with you and we look up stuff, right? It's nothing like you're wrong, I'm right. It's like, cool, you brought something up. Let's see what that is, right? Because a lot of things, what happens on the internet is someone says something, it's like a game of telephone. So we just like to, if someone says something, we like to check it, right? I like to check it to make sure, because I don't want to spew some bullshit that if I'm wrong. Ron says, what I own is a black and white television with the bunny ears antennas on there, Ron. Is that what you do? Saint says, when I'm gaming on PC, I thought Microsoft Store games were Xbox versions and Steam had PC versions. Am I misremembering, or did they change that? No, so there's a difference is Steam, if you play Game Pass Ultimate, you can play those games, but if you get the games on Steam, Saint, you can't play anywhere. But if you get it from the Windows Store or Battle.net and link up your account, you can play anywhere. So you can play the PC versions of those games, but through Windows. Okay? You can get on Steam as well with Game Pass Ultimate, okay? But you don't get to play anywhere on Steam with that version. Saint says 30, spinning more facts to me. I like it. Like, I just don't want people to think like, oh, don't buy Samsung because Samsung, like, That's why I said maybe it's older models. Maybe certain models don't do it. Because the LG models haven't come out yet. Because they signed the deal with LG. And so I would assume television sets that are coming out this year, probably out now, that you can play some Game Pass on there, I would assume. All right, if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We just have conversations, go over news stories, entertainment, gaming, doesn't really matter. We just have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button. Helps us out. We're a small channel. The likes really push the content to other people out there. They're like, hey, he's got 30 people watching him. He's got 30 likes. Let's see if we can get more people to come into his channel and see if they like it, right? And that's the way YouTube works. Sarge says, I'm lost and old. Just tell me what I have to do to play games anywhere. Windows Store or Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate. If you buy it through Windows, then it's Play Anywhere, right? But if you have Game Pass Ultimate, it is Play Anywhere. But if you buy it, you have to buy it through the Windows Store or Xbox. Windows 10 or 11. Or Battle.net and link your account. Argus says the games on PC Windows Store are the PC versions. Windows Store or Game Pass, got it. Or Battle.net and link your account. Altern, what's going on, Altern? I have a question, 30. Is my toaster also an Xbox or just my TV? If you get one of those high-end toaster ovens, it's probably an Xbox. It's like the song I have here. Everything's an Xbox, Altern. Everything's an Xbox.
Phil Spencer wakes up, boots a game, still in his PJs, but he's bringing the flame. Xbox controller in both his hands. Man's got Game Pass on 16 screens. Damn, play it on a console, play it on a fridge, or play it on your grandma's smart TV in the kitchen. Like Cloud Stream, Dream Team, every single store. If it's got a circuit board, Xbox wants more. When they said exclusive, Phil said nah. Put it on a Switch, put it on a PS5. Cloud in the sky, games on demand. Xbox logo on everything, man. Everything's an Xbox, don't you see? If it's got a screen, then it's playing for free. Game Pass here, Game Pass there. Phil's playing chess while they play in solitaire. Yo, you got a microwave? That's an Xbox. Remember a Tesla dashboard? That's an Xbox. Your dad's old beeper? Yep. Xbox. That calculator? Bro, that's an Xbox. Bought a PS5, guess what, fool? You just funded Xbox as part of the rule. Starfield, Doom, even Minecraft 2. Phil selling you games on your own console, dude. Take your baby's pacifier, that's an Xbox. Though that fax machine from 92, that's an X.
So there you go. Yeah, everything's an Xbox, Altern. You got a toaster oven, your dad's old pager. Your soul could be an Xbox. Jack says, Play Anywhere is what Xbox has over everybody else. They need to expand it to more than just Xbox Game Studios. Well, I think they try to expand it, but it's not worth it for the third party, which is what Jez was saying, right? It's not a what's the incentive for third party games to do it when people are not using it? You know, it's a sale for Xbox first party titles, but it's not a sale for third party titles. Ron says, question, if a game gets delisted, will you still be able to play anywhere? Yeah, you can play everywhere because it'll be delisted, meaning you can't play anywhere. So you can play it everywhere but nowhere. Right? As long as you own it, you should be able to play it. Unless it's Battleborn or the crew or any other game that they delisted. Switch it up says, to be honest, I think Valve is playing the long game. It's hard to see it now, but I do see them separating from Windows. I believe the rumors are Steam Machine return. Look, I think it's smart for them to get into the market, the new market. And the new market's different than the old market, right? The old market is you have to have a set-top box, right? Which is the PlayStation, the Nintendo. But look what Nintendo did. Nintendo has a set-top box, which is the Switch, but you can pick it up and make it a handheld, okay? Steam had the box on the top of the television set where you could do the Steam Link, whatever it was, or the Steam box, okay? And then they went to the Steam Deck. Now, the Steam Deck, as much as people hype it up and say it's awesome, they didn't sell very many in this grand scheme of handhelds, okay? it's a small increment of what came in. I think Stadia sold more, right? Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure that Stadia sold more copies than the Steam Deck. Right? Let me see. Did they? Because you could buy a thing. You could buy like the controller and whatnot. Let's see. Did it sell? I know it was a service, but they sold stuff. Let's see. 2019, 2020. Frames. Features. Hardware. Software. History. Ready to change. I don't think they have an actual sale of how many things they sold. They had a pre-release, post-released. Let's see. They offered refunds for Stadia hardware and software purchases. Yeah, they don't tell the actual sales. Well, Steam Deck, I believe, only has about 4 million, if I'm not mistaken. 3 million units. Sales research reported as Steam Deck sold 1.62 million units in 2022. The report estimated that the Steam Deck would pass 3 million units and sold since the launch sometime during 2023. So in 2024, let's just say they sold about 4 million. Even if they get 5 million units, right? The Steam Deck, that's not a big, huge selling thing, okay? Like, you can't... Think about this, right? People are giving shit to Xbox because they only sold like 28 million or 30 million units for a console. Meanwhile, Steam Deck sold 3 million to 4 million. They're like, that's a huge success. It's like, a unit's a unit. A console's a console, okay? You can't say one is successful and the other one isn't. Dog said price tag of it out of people, off people, right? Sure, the price tag is off, but remember, people are paying, where is it? Anywhere between $350 and $800, I think, for a Steam Deck. Right? You get the smaller version. Here, let's go see what it is. Right? $400 for 256, $550 for 512, and $650 for 1 terabyte. Right? I'm not going to pay that much for a handheld device, personally. Okay? The Switch says this song is wild. I have a bunch of them. I have a bunch of songs like that. We actually have a new channel. Switch it up. If you go to 30 and Still Jamming, it's written songs by me made with AI with the music. So we have a bunch of songs that are just like parody songs, making fun of all the shit that goes on. If you come before the show starts, I play a whole bunch of songs. We have like Battlefield, EA, Ubisoft, Make a Game, Sell a Game, IGN, 7 out of 10. We have a bunch of different songs that I've created. Kylo says, my old lady's an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox, Kylo. Yeah. Good Papa says 30 a bit behind because of shopping, but Dolby Vision is a paid piece of software. HDR10 Plus is free. Both look at the same DTS and also been basically replaced with Dolby Atmos. DTS is dead. Switch Up says, I absolutely agree. The only problem was the Steam Deck didn't promote the dock much. I always hear everyone syncing their save to PC. Cool, but I want a ton and play on my hardware. Right. So going back to the conversation we had before, right, about is Steam going to make a handheld? They could. And then maybe Xbox just takes Game Pass and puts it on their device. I've been on record saying I think it's stupid for Xbox just to make a device. Because if they're not selling a good device now, what's to say that their next device is going to sell very well to win over the market? You still have the same problem. The problem with the market is it's the saturation and people that PlayStation owners have their catalog of games and all the games they bought over the years on their PlayStation, right? So if you bring a new hardware piece in of Xbox, Are the people that are not buying an Xbox all of a sudden are going to go buy a handheld? No. The benefits would be if Steam and Xbox teamed up and made a device where if it's Xbox's device and Steam is on it, or if it's a Steam device with Xbox natively playing on it, that is a sale that would make people, right? But the people thinking that Xbox is going to come out their system and it's just playing Xbox games, that's not going to sell more Xboxes. I'm sorry. Jay Breezy says, if everything's an Xbox, I play with an Xbox all the time. Yeah, everything's an Xbox. Right now, your light, it's an Xbox. Your window, it's an Xbox. Your toaster oven, your beeper, your pager. The song even says your soul might be an Xbox. Yeah. Stop playing with it. It will fall off. All right, let's go with... I'd be one happy camper if Steam and Xbox collab. I think that's what's going to happen in some way, shape, or form. I think some way, shape, or form that is going to happen down the line. It just makes sense, right? Because, again, there's no proof of this. This is just what I feel, right? It's like a gut feeling of Steam looks at the sales of the Steam Deck and went, people don't want to buy handhelds, okay? And Xbox like, well, people don't want to buy our system because of the new way, but if they join forces, okay, people on Steam, on PC, don't even want to click from the Steam button to the Epic Store. You think these people are going to go buy and then go play this? No. If you give a combined total of one device, what did I say last week? And leading up to this, convenience is what sells people, right? Convenience. If I could pick up one device to rule them all, basically, right? And you pick up the Steam Deck 2, but it has Xbox on it. It has Steam on it, which means if it has Steam on it, then it has PlayStation on it because they're putting their games on Steam, okay? That's a one-stop shop minus Nintendo, even though there's ways around it, okay, if you know what you're doing, okay? But that's 3 systems on one device. That is a convenience that people will not pass up. That is the justification of right now you're playing Steam and you're paying $700 or $650 for a Steam Deck. Now you put Xbox on there, you put PlayStation games on there, and you're like, now that is a selling point. That is a convenience, right? And this is why Steam, in the long run, could be a very, huge organization. And games just sitting back going, ha, 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 right? Because the future was digital. Steam right now is fantastic, but Steam easily could become the Activision Blizzard, right? The dominant force of what they have. They're already the dominant force. Who's competing with Steam right now? Nobody. We've had talks like this before. I don't know if Gabe sells. He doesn't have to sell. Would they love to buy him? Sure. I think a partnership in one state or form or another. I don't know if they buy him. And I don't think even if they offered to buy him, I don't think it would go through. I don't think it would go through. Kyle says it makes too much sense, but executives don't seem to have common sense. Go on, Sin. I don't see them purchasing Steam. Just a very big partnership. Yeah, I don't see them partnering up. Because of what happened with Blizzard, I don't think Microsoft can pick up Valve. I just don't see it happening. I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but because Steam is the victor on the PC market, and Microsoft is now moving to this new direction, if they pick this up, that would be way too big, and I don't think they'll do it. Eclipse says that would be probably give them a partnership to use Microsoft Windows on the Steam Deck, which might go to portable PC that they want to make. Right. Argus says I pre-ordered and bought the most expensive Steam Deck when I first came out. I got one of the earliest batches. I got the dock when it first came out too. Great device. John says I'm here often. Love the morning shows. I was pointing that out. No bias here. Oh no, I get you, John. I appreciate it, and I'm not trying to call anybody out. We're just having a conversation. Altern says the Steam Deck still not selling that much. because you only can buy it off on first world countries. There's also a lot of countries in America, kind of parts of Europe that can't buy the device. Oh, I didn't know that, Altern. So they still don't sell it in many places. Yeah, it's easy to say. Like right now, the default, if anything's bad, everyone's like, Elon should buy it. Elon should buy it, right? Like that's what it is. Like obviously, if Elon wanted to, he could buy anything he wants, and he could be like Unicron, right? He just keeps eating planets. He's like, oh, just it keeps taking the stuff in. At some point, though, he could buy a whole bunch of different companies. But if he bought too many companies in one sector, people would be like, no, you can't buy anymore. Because if he buys, let's say Elon Musk, in this example, came in and said, I'm going to buy Microsoft, because he could, okay? Right? He could probably buy Microsoft, right? Or majority of Microsoft. And then all of a sudden he buys PlayStation. He'll be like, no, you can't do that because you can't own the competition. You can't own that, okay? Now, could he start his own company and then build it up? Sure, okay? But they're not going to let him buy something to be more powerful and just keep conglomerately picking up more things. Right, Steam and Xbox handheld would be insane. Somehow get Steam apps running on a current next-gen console. That's the way I feel like it's going. When Sarah Bond said we have a technology or whatever that device is, if it is a Windows device, it needs to have Steam partner up with them. And if it's not a Windows device, like an actual, they make the hardware, and Steam is making the hardware, and then they're putting their stuff on the Steam, that seems much more sense as well, right? I mean, obviously, Microsoft, to this day, made their $1 trillion company off of software. So why would this be any different? Altern says I can still buy a Steam Deck officially. I mean, if I was, I have one, but it says if I wait for one in stores on my country to bring them, in the case of Valve, don't sell them. Interesting. Sin says I could see them possibly targeting Epic though, to own the Fortnite IP, an Unreal Engine to lease out. Pretty attractive pitch. Phil could be present. You think that Microsoft picks up? I don't know. Epic is bigger than what you think they are, Sin, as far as a video game company. They have positioned themselves the last 5 years. They have bought a lot of things. Epic is not just a video game company. They are a technology company, and they have a lot of the pieces in place to move into the film industry as well. They own all the mocap stuff. They own basically what the Vroom is, basically, and how it runs with the all the shows and TV shows that are running the Unreal Engine 5 stuff on the screens. There's a lot of things that they've picked up and purchased. I don't know if they pick them up. Tim is he's got his own plan, right? Tim is like a smaller Zuckerberg, or you know what I mean, smaller Bezos right now. He's got his plans on what he wants to do, and I don't think his plan is to sell to anybody. Switch It Up says, I remember someone made a theory that Xbox wanted to put Steam on Xbox because they wanted to replicate the Apple lawsuit where they wanted to do more one store on iOS so they can have a store on PS and Switch. I've speculated in the past if that whole thing goes through with Epic trying to get different devices. Obviously, Xbox you can open up a browser and then do stuff behind the scenes type of stuff, right? I've said that their whole plan is to get Game Pass on all the other platforms. Like Game Pass will be if you want to buy it, you can get a membership and have it on the PlayStation, or you want to be a PlayStation or a Switch, you can get Xbox Game Pass and put it on the Switch. I've said that like 3-4 years ago, and people thought I was crazy. I still think that's going to be some sort of feasible way because of the way technology is moving and going and the way the market and the industry is going. I don't think it's going to happen like today or tomorrow, right? But I do believe down the road, that's the way it's going to go. Because look at Netflix. You can get Netflix on every device possible, right? Look at all the streaming services now between like Disney Plus and Amazon and Netflix and Paramount and Hulu and all. They're on all devices, Rokus and Fire Sticks and Xboxes and stuff like that. That's the way I think that Xbox is positioning themselves to take Game Pass and put it on all the devices, just an app, just so you can play it, which they're almost there. They're almost there. The only thing they're missing is putting it on PlayStation and Switch. South of Midnight previews are starting to go up. Is there one right now that you could recommend, Mo? Because it's a slow day. We're gonna watch right now. We're gonna watch the RPG. Huge year for RPGs from Force Gaming. Other than that, we really don't have that many stories. So if you have people that we usually watch, like Skill Up or something like that, I'll watch it. Saint says PlayStation will allow it, but it won't be called Game Pass. It will be a different tier of subscription. Yeah, maybe they call it something different, Saint. I mean, look, 100% of 0 or 0% of 100% is nothing. You know what I mean? Where if they get 30% of everything that comes from that store, you know? I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference? Obviously, there's a difference because it's a company that makes a console to compete with PlayStation. But Ubisoft Plus, you can get on PlayStation. EA Play, you can get on PlayStation. So if Xbox decides to drop the hardware, can they put Game Pass on? Do you know what I mean? Switch It Up says those brilliant bastards, I think, at best, has put the 360 older titles on PlayStation 5, the Switch 2 via emulation. That could be possible. Saint said they did that with the Ubisoft. Yeah. A bunch in Game Talk? All right. All right, we got Maddie. I like Maddie. We can do Maddie. Yeah, let's do Maddie.
Salutations,
All right, I won't do that right now. We'll watch that in a little bit. We're gonna do the huge ARPGs. A lot of you guys like ARPGs. Force Gaming is doing, the 2025 is a huge year for ARPGs. So let's watch that right now. You're only making it sound more attractive for Microsoft 30 with the success of the Fallout TV show, spitting out the increased game engagement. Owning Epic puts their foot further across the media door. It will inflate PlayStation Plus offering. You mean to say 100% of nothing is 0? Thank you. That's what I meant to say. I said I'm dyslexic. I said backwards. I've been watching Maddie since 2014. Yeah, I've been watching Maddie for a long time. All right, so let's watch. You guys like what I do? We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. On this channel, we do live streams. So we do the morning show Monday through Thursday. We do a podcast Thursday nights called Generation X Gaming. We do uploads on this channel from the breakouts of these videos. So if you saw those going up. We also do another podcast on Wednesday nights when I have a guest. It's called Chatting with 30. Where I interview other YouTubers and whatnot. That's on this channel. If you'd like to go to our other channels, we have 30 and Still Gaming, which is gameplay. We played some Eternal Stranded last night. Go check that out. Game, nice game. A little slow. I enjoyed it. Little janky in the fighting and whatnot, but I'm enjoying it so far as we peel back the layers. So I like that. We also have another channel called Nerding with 30, which is more entertainment type of side of stuff. And then we also have a new channel, which is AI Music, where I write songs, and then I have AI using Suno, make the songs and put them into different fun parodies and whatnot called 30 and Still Jamming. You can find all that information down below on the channel. All right, so let's watch some Force Gaming here.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So 2025, it's shaping up to be quite a big year if you're an ARPG fan. As you certainly know by now, Path of Exile 2 has been trucking along. Following its early access release in December, the game essentially consumed my life for about a month straight. I mean, I had a good time, don't get me wrong, but boy, was that an experience. It was like tripping into a black hole of mapping. Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, just like fantastic game already, and it's not even 50% complete in terms of all the additional content, classes, and systems in the works, and that are planned to release over the course of this next 12 months, which frankly just blows my mind. Like, the game has already managed to consume 300 plus hours.
I haven't touched it in a couple of weeks. I have about 37 hours into it. Enjoyed my time with it.
hours of my time, and it's not even as good as it's going to be. Holy hell. So yeah, like, we got some big updates on the horizon for PoE 2 as they introduce the 6 additional classes, their corresponding weapon skill gems, many more support gems, 3 more campaign acts, and who knows how many more league mechanics in addition to the existing mapping system with its bossing, breaches, expedition, and delirium. Now, we already know they
So, Water, you have 262 hours. It's just a few more hours than Baldur's Gate 3, I see. Just a few.
plan on running multiple leagues, otherwise referred to as seasons, throughout the course of early access. These will happen alongside any major content updates they release, and while we don't have the exact specifics as of yet, the current speculation is that the first league will include the addition of one or both the Druid and Huntress classes, as these are the 2 that we've been told are the furthest in development currently. Beyond that, we expect likely at least 1 additional mechanic to come in the first league, and maybe an expansion of the campaign, although frankly, I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually save the last 3 acts for the game's full 1.0 release, and then keep the early access updates to just class and mechanics editions, but we don't know really one way or the other. I'm sure we will be learning sometime soon in the coming months. But yeah, I mean, even if you just played Path of Exile 2, in 2025 would be like a solid year straight.
Right. Just this game alone is worth best ARPG of 2025 without even knowing what else is coming out.
Of ARPG fun. But wait, there's actually quite a bit more. So Last Epoch
But wait, there's more.
revealed their plans for Season 2, which comes with a bunch of new content aimed at addressing the greatest areas of feedback, those being expanding endgame, a better new player experience, and improved dungeons, performance, and balance. The TLDR of these changes include Monolith of Fate upgrades, this being the primary endgame system, similar to mapping in PoE. They'll be introducing a host of new Echo objectives, new enemies, and reworks to old objective types to provide some more variety while going through the Echoes. There's going to be the new Weaver faction, which will let you augment your Monolith timelines during endgame progression. This faction is separate from both the Circle of Fortune and Merchants Guild, and will be available to all players regardless of which one of those you chose. There will be dungeon improvements with many community requested features and an enhanced new player experience to make dungeons more accessible. They're also adding tombs and cemeteries as this all new side zone randomly encountered within
You know what the funny part is? I had to look real fast. I was like, is he still talking about Path of Exile? No, he's talking about Last Epoch. So this is Last Epoch. Those of you guys that missed that.
Monolith Echoes. This is meant to bring just some additional variety and unique experiences while you're going through mapping. There's going to be an overhaul to the Sentinel class with a large number of changes to its passive trees and skills. There are champion enemies, which are a higher tier, more formidable class of rares, and this increased challenge will also come with greater rewards. There's going to be some endgame crafting additions with all new options for refining items.
Is Last Epoch a released or is it early access still?
New endgame bosses as they're adding more variety to Last Epoch's current pinnacle fight of Aberoth, and then a bunch of smaller improvements which include bug fixes, improved performance, UI improvements, quality of life features, changes to keys and other item storage, new uniques, improved sounds for a lot of skills, improvements to controller functionality with a new targeting system, and
It's released
quite
now?
a bit
Okay.
more. Yeah, Season 2 is looking like quite a substantial update. Seems like Last Epoch might be worth a revisit this year, currently scheduled to release 2 months from now at some point in April. And then apparently Diablo 4 has a new season. I completely missed this news, just went by, but I was a little preoccupied.
So right now, Diablo 4 is coming in. I feel like Diablo 4 has lost. Obviously, it came out a while ago. Okay, it was hot commodity. They made their money. They make buku bucks, right? They're being hit now by Path of Exile. But where do you guys rank Diablo 4? Would you, if you had to pick right now out of the 3 games that you already said, Path of Exile 2, Last Epoch, and Diablo 4, in what order are you playing these games in, right? If you had to pick 1, 2, 3 in order, right? I'm picking Path of Exile. I think I'm picking Path of Exile, Last Epoch, and then Diablo. Diablo's 3rd in my list right now.
Around that window, but yes, there's a new Diablo 4 season of Witchcraft currently underway, having begun on January 21st. With this, there's a new story quest line, some seasonal witch themed powers like summoning fire bats and poison frogs. They just gave everyone witch doctor abilities apparently. There's an armory system, which this actually seems pretty cool. It gives you the ability to save and quickly swap between multiple builds. And then,
so I have a question. The expansions that are coming out for Diablo 4, are those sold separately? Right, because I purchased the game, when it came out originally, right? Now it's on Game Pass. Are the expansions on Game Pass, or this expansion sold separately, or is the new one coming out and the last one is now on Game Pass?
And the typical assortment of new seasonal cosmetics, emotes, and all of that stuff, enticing you to try to buy the premium edition
Sold
of
separately,
the season
okay.
pass and skip some levels if you don't have
You play
enough
the
time
season
to
stuff?
grind.
Okay.
Oh joy! I mean, look, to be frank here, Diablo 4 seasons have just really not been enticing enough to get me to revisit the game. I think since the game's release, I've come back for 1, if not 2 seasons in total. Although I did quite enjoy playing the first expansion, Vessel of Hatred. I liked its new class, getting to
Well, the second expansion is coming out now, Ford, which is the Witches one. Or is that just a season?
see that entirely new zone, and the new content, in particular that co-op group Citadel. I thought that was a lot of fun, at least for the first couple of times. But for me, the whole thing only ended up lasting like a little over a week's worth of playtime before I had my fill.
Okay, but how much hours did you put in that week worth of game time? See, that's what I don't understand, right? Saying a week over game time, is that a couple hours a day for a week? Or is that a week's worth of game time, right? 24 hours a day for a week? You know what I mean? Like the time you put in. If I put an additional 60 hours in, you know, I think that's worth it. You know what I mean?
Fill, which, you know, I was kind of hoping for a bit more out of, what was it, like a $50 paid expansion or somewhere in that ballpark. Now, beyond them,
What did he say there?
weeks worth of playtime before I had my fill, which, you know, I was kind of hoping for a bit more out of, what was it, like a $50 paid expansion or
$50 paid expansion. So you got to get, with an ARPG, I would say at least another 50 hours. $1 an hour for me.
somewhere in that ballpark. Now, beyond them continuing to get their quarterly seasonal updates, that's going to keep happening. We also expect an entirely new expansion this year, assuming that they deliver on what was their previously stated goal of releasing 1 expansion every year. Now, I'm not sure how likely this is to happen, as, you know, we're a couple months into the year and we still haven't heard anything yet. Presumably, if it were coming out this year, it'd be some point between October and December. So I guess maybe they still have time to announce it. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of this is going to come down to the finances of just like how much money is Diablo 4 generating for Blizzard and Microsoft. And it's kind of hard to know from the outside. Like, certainly the hype has died down in terms of internet interest and viewership around this game, but that doesn't mean that people aren't still playing and spending money.
There's a crap ton of people still playing
on all of the seasonal content and cosmetics and all that stuff. I mean, for all I know, the game could be earning loads of cash from the console audience alone, right? It's just hard to say. Like, all the time you see games that online are touted as completely dead, forget about it, it's in the grave, but they're still raking in cash for their publisher. I think like Elder Scrolls Online is a great example that comes to mind. That game is consistently a top earner for ZeniMax, but if you ask Reddit or Twitter or wherever online, they would say that game's been dead for years, but it's raking in millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. So yeah, again, it's...
Well, I appreciate Sin here. I'll read what you said out loud. All right, it says 30, in case no one said so, great podcast format, sir. We really appreciate how swiftly you engage with the chat. Post actually feels like the conversation instead of someone super chat farming. Well, here's the thing, Sin. Right now, what I try to do, and I basically, whatever I feel like is important, or I'll read, like what you just wrote, most of the time what I try to do as the incentive to become a member, okay? Because I'm doing 4 days a week. I do live streams, I do podcasts and stuff like that. I try to push the people that are members to read most of their stuff first. But obviously, I still read. Like, you're not a member, which I'm not asking you to become a member. I'll read other people's chats, okay? As the channel grows, to be honest, it would have to be where if I'm providing a function like this, where I bring your chat up on screen, it would be less of random people and more people on members. And obviously, if you're a super chatter, I would read your stuff because, I mean, you're giving me money, right? But yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to bring in people's opinions and have conversation, because stuff like this, as you can tell, I'm reading it and now I have 3 minutes worth of conversation type of stuff. You know what I mean? So as a small channel, fantastic. As we grow, it will have to adjust and change based on, obviously, I can't keep up with everyone in chat, right? Imagine if Asmongold did this. We would have a 15-hour long chat just talking to chat.
It's hard to say. We will see if Diablo 4 does in fact get its second expansion this fall. I'm not going to hold my breath, but whenever it comes out, I hope there's enough new interesting content that my revisit lasts more than just a week, as was the case with Vessel of Hatred. And then there's also Grim Dawn. The 2016 ARPG has its long-awaited and highly anticipated expansion.
What is this? What is this one?
The 2016...
Hold on.
I hope there's enough new interesting content that my revisit lasts more than just a week, as was the case with Vessel of Hatred. And then there's also Grim Dawn. The 2016
Grim Dawn. I don't even remember this one.
ARPG has its long-awaited and highly anticipated expansion actually planned for this year. Fangs of Asterkarn comes with a whole bunch of new content and features. There's the Ascendant game mode, a 10th
This one looks pretty cool.
mastery, a brand new chapter, option customization, affix transmutation, expansion
The combat looks a little bit more, I don't know, restricted, right? It doesn't look as fluid as the other ones.
of the Crucible, hundreds of new items, epic awakenings, and 2 brand new factions. Now, this update was actually originally revealed back in August 2023, so
It doesn't look like they finished the animation, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you look at it, it's like they're...
been a hot minute. While it has taken a while, I know there are quite a few people looking forward to its release, which as of now is expected to finally happen sometime this year. Beyond all of that, like all of these games that we know are currently available and are getting big updates and or expansions in 2025, there's also a handful of brand new ARPGs scheduled to release this year, all of which I'm interested in at least
How do you think about this? Like, Diablo is the big guy, right? And then Path of Exile is the other big guy. How do all these other companies push through and make an opening for themselves? It's so competitive, which is good. It's good to have this many games to compete. And the smaller companies, like the last one they just showed, right? Was it called Grim Dawn? It doesn't need to sell millions of copies. You know what I mean?
checking out. So first up on that list is Dragonkin the Banished. This is being developed by Echo Soft.
Wait, what was this one?
So first up on
Okay. Dragonkin.
that list is Dragonkin the Banished. This is being developed by Echo Software, who previously have
This looks
made
pretty cool.
a few top-down action games, including How to Survive.
Where the hell is Ultimate Alliance? God damn it, chat. Come on, Water. We gotta start manifesting. Where's Ultimate Alliance? Give me a new Ultimate Alliance ARPG. God damn it. I'm tired of looking at these same fantasy-looking ones. Give me my Marvel's ARPG.
5 and Warhammer Chaos Bane. Now, with this new game, they appear to finally be creating something that's going to be a bit...
I can't tell you. If I just played this and he didn't tell you, if he didn't tell you each game, and I just played this video from beginning to end, you would think I was still looking at Path of Exile or Diablo. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know the difference. The average person wouldn't know the difference between these. They're all fantasy-based.
bit more familiar to any Diablo or Path of Exile fans out there, of which I'm assuming, you know, those are the people watching a video about ARPGs in 2025. This new game looks to be a traditional hack and slash ARPG.
Give me a Cyberpunk one. Give me a Marvel one. Give me a DC one. Give me something.
loot grinding game. They say that Dragonkin is built on 3 main pillars. The first is this fantasy setting with a world and mythology based and centered around dragons. Second is theory crafting that is going to be both accessible but also deep. And then third, they're having several layers of power and character progression for players to spend their time working towards. So the game's campaign is going to have you traversing jungles, ancient islands, toxic swamps, vast plains, and many more varieties of settings. Each region is not only going to have its own culture of NPCs that you'll interact with.
You know what I want? I want a Master Chief Halo ARPG. You're a Spartan ARPG, and you're leveling up and becoming a badass. Right? That's what I want. Give me one of those.
And get
Give
story
me something different. Okay? God damn, it's the same fantasy base. Where's the sci-fi ARPGs?
from, but also enemy monster families, bosses, resources, and loot to collect. The game is going to be utilizing procedural level structure along with dynamic world events and elements, including rain, fog, and storms, all of which will vary the look, layout, and
Did they change? No, this is
presentation from one run to the next. For its early access release, you're going to have the choice of 3 playable character classes. The Barbarian, a strength-based character who combines ice powers with legendary rage. The Oracle, who uses electric draconic powers, unleashing precise heavy-hitting strikes. And the Knight, wielding a lance with an array of fire-based skills and abilities. There is also a 4th character currently in development that will be
I love Ascent. Ascent was badass.
announced at some later date. So each hero is going to have their own unique abilities and combat techniques as a base.
Yeah, but take a chance. You know what I mean? Like, take a chance. Give me a sci-fi one. Give me something different. I'm tired of looking at these same-ish type of games, right? I love ARPGs. I do. Right? But give me something different.
Baseline, which you can then further enhance by your equipment, the Wormling Companion, and the Ancestral Grid, and this is all part of the power progression. So while you're playing, you're going to be collecting plenty of randomized loot with different stats, complex itemization, active and passive skills. There's also going to be a crafting system for making and fine-tuning your own gear. You've got the
Give me a Transformers one. Give me just a sci-fi one. Give me a cyberpunk one. Give me a Fallout one. Give me something. Give me something different than what we're looking at. Seriously, you can't tell the difference between most of these games. If you didn't say it out loud, you don't know we're switching games.
The Wormling, a companion who follows you around, but also acts as kind of like a specialization for your character, allowing you to launch a host of different conditional effects on top of your baseline abilities. And then
Yeah, Jones, there's one cyberpunk one other one. Everything else is just fantasy-based. They're all the same.
probably most interestingly of all is what they're calling the Ancestral Grid, of which they say, our aim is to make skills a part of the game's
Yeah. They'll give me another kart racing game for Transformers.
itemization as well. So basically, no matter the class you pick, you're going to be building your own skill tree, collecting.
How badass would this be, Water, if this was Optimus Prime or Megatron, and you're doing stuff like this and powering up and doing things?
Fragments in combat or as rewards that you then place into this grid in whatever manner and fashion you like, combining different active skills, passives, and modifiers for all of this. The grid only has so much space in it, in which you're going to have to strategically place your pieces, optimizing each position to tailor for whatever your preferred playstyle is. Each hero is going to have their own grid with a massive number of potential combinations and abilities and modifiers. This again seems like
Hasbro. God damn you, Hasbro. God damn you, Hasbro.
Transformers reactivate. We were hyped to play. Splash damage had the spark, but Hasbro blew it away. Canceled in the darkness. No bots will roll today. Hasbro strikes again. Guess the kids won't wanna stay. Hasbro, what a joke, can't keep the fire alive. G.I. Joe's in the gutter and the bots took it down.
Freaking amazing.
You're fumbling all your treasures, it's a sad, sad show. Now everyone's asking how low. Hasbro.
Freaking Hasbro.
an interesting way to approach skill customization and modification. We'll be curious to see how it plays out. There's also this entire system of city building. When discussing this, the studio said, we felt it was important to make the world evolve with the hero's progression, but also to enhance the multiplayer experience and the creation of multiple characters. With this in mind, our heroes evolve in a large city, the city of Montascale. So this is a city that is going to develop and will be customized by you as you progress through the campaign and go through the game's endgame. There's going to be craftsmen and services for selling items, making gear, and acquiring different quests. And then with time, you're going to unlock new services.
All right, this is something different. This is something different.
As well as improving existing ones. To coincide with this, there will be visual changes to the actual city, and this is going to be a central location for the game's upcoming multiplayer, as well as for any alts that you make, as they're going to be able to visit that same city that you built up on
Badass armor, that's for sure.
previous characters and benefit from any bonus.
Good Papa says, if a game gets canceled, there should be a law forcing code to go into a public domain. That way it can be picked up and finished. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Yeah, there should be something. If you drop it If you drop it, the rest of the world can pick it up and actually be successful with it. That should be a law. We should make that law. Thank you very much for the $5.
Bonuses and services that you previously unlocked. So when the game launches into early access, it is going to initially just be single player with offline mode available and no required internet connection. Thumbs up there.
bonus.
And then during early access, they will be implementing multiplayer, letting you play through the game with friends, eventually adding couch co-op, which is going to be planned to come in the full 1.0 release. I mean, overall, I think this looks and sounds pretty neat. I was bummed to learn that the multiplayer isn't going to be there right away, especially considering if my previous experience with ARPGs is any indication. Normally, it is the slower pacing of the campaign playthrough that I find best for co-op, while with most ARPGs, once we get to endgame, I tend to really mostly play alone, partially because with the increased speed and the massive amounts of screen clear.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Roic. If it closes down, if the company closes down and they're not doing anything with it, then just open it up. Open it up for other people.
Effects, most ARPGs, they feel better to play solo come endgame. Otherwise, like, there's way too much going on. I just like Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2 as prime examples. I played with friends through the campaign. Everything was slower paced. There was less effects, less stuff going on. When we got to endgame, even just adding one other player, my eyes start bleeding. There's just too much happening on screen. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case in this game, but point being, it would have been nice for multiplayer to be there for when we're experiencing the campaign, because I feel like that's when I'm most likely to be using it. But
Yeah. When he said his eyes start bleeding.
Whatever, we'll see what happens. I digress. So Dragonkin is actually coming pretty soon, scheduled to release on March the 6th, coming first once more to early access via PC, and then they're going to have an Xbox and PS5 version planned for later on, presumably for the full 1.0 release. Another new ARPG launching this year is Titan Quest 2. This one, a long time coming, the original game released back in 2006, and while it never really broke into the
Is this thematic of Rome?
mainstream, it did absolutely find a small but passionate following. Last time I checked, lifetime sales of the original Titan Quest broke just over 1 million, which
That's good.
certainly isn't that's not bad, right?
Come on,
That's not
Dolphin.
bad for an ARPG that maybe a lot of you hadn't even heard of. I think probably one of the biggest standouts of this series is the setting. So rather than being in like the standard medieval inspired fantasy that most ARPGs take place in, Titan Quest takes place in a world inspired by the tales and mythology
This already looks better to me because it's not set in the goddamn same thing as everything else.
of classic ancient Greece, pitting
Yeah.
you against its legendary monsters.
I might pick this up.
Gods, and fables. We'll set out on an adventure traveling through picturesque beaches, serene Greek temples, and the mysterious realms of the gods, while fighting an array of classic and invented creatures inspired from Greek mythology, including centaurs, satyrs, harpies, sirens, griffins, and more. Now, unlike a lot of ARPGs where you're blasting through the levels as quickly as possible, this game is asking you to slow it down. The campaign and the world is really designed with exploration in mind. They're going to have you pay close attention to your surroundings because you've got things like bosses lurking off of beaten
I like it already.
paths in hidden groves, or treasures tucked behind puzzles and secret
I like exploring.
levers, and many other mysteries for you to uncover that you're just not going to see if you're simply sprinting from point A to B. And going along with this is the fact that the world, rather than being procedural, is entirely handcrafted. Every level, enemy encounter, boss arena, and treasure was particularly placed by the developers. They're also leaning heavily into the use of vertical space, as you will be traversing up the sides of mountains, down into dark dungeons, and along the edges of ruins and other points of interest. This actually reminds me quite a lot of No Rest for the Wicked, which I quite enjoyed how they made use of verticality in that game. Hopefully they do it to a similar extent in Titan Quest 2. As for combat, beyond your basic
It still looks too samey, though. I'll be honest with you. I understand the setting's different, and it does look better. Okay? I'm just tired of seeing the same type of look of ARPGs.
attacks and whatever
I think this is why I liked Lost Ark a little bit, right? Lost Ark was a different type of setting. And I think that's why I put in like 200 hours into it.
skills you have. They've got the additional defensive layers with dodging, parries, and counterattacks. And they're also promising deep customization and plenty of systems that ensure a lot of replayability. You'll get to form your own class by combining 2 masteries together, building around the strengths and weaknesses of each, and exploring different potential combinations of skill modifiers, attributes, and items to create your very own hybrid. And then while in combat, they say that enemies are going to be forming into factions, grouping and working together, combining their different skills and abilities in ways that keep you on your toes throughout each playthrough. And yeah, I mean, this all looks and sounds neat. The game definitely does appear to be a slower paced ARPG from its combat to the focus on exploration and the handcrafted levels. But I really do like the look of this. I mean, sure, yeah, I will certainly admit that combat from what we've seen here does not look nearly as impactful as, for example, Path of Exile 2 or even Diablo.
So you got to kill them fast, otherwise they start grouping up and working together.
4. But everything else about it, from its fairly unique setting, for the genre at least, to its enemies and the fact that it is all handcrafted and exploration centric, I'm hopeful that this one clicks for me and I enjoy it. Titan Quest 2 is scheduled for an early access launch in early 2025. The last official messaging on this said that it will be coming out sometime this winter, which technically ends in late March, so we'll see if they meet that previously projected deadline. All right, next up we have got Project Pantheon. This is set in a post-apocalyptic dark fantasy world that's said to be a mixture of extraction and hack and slash ARPG genres. So take the gameplay of, say, Path of Exile, place it into the extraction framework. That is fundamentally what we're looking at here. Each run you're going to be heading.
It sounds different. Doesn't sound like something I would play, but at least they're trying something different.
Into a hidden fortress to venture through diverse maps, completing objectives, fighting enemy NPCs, other players, securing loot, and trying to escape alive. Couple of notes from the game's Steam page. They say explore challenging maps, tackle quests, and loot unique gear. Enjoy balanced PvP and PvE with fair rules and strong anti-cheat. You'll be able to upgrade your base, customizable.
Why doesn't anyone try anything different as far as the look? I'm so confused.
Loadouts and gear.
Is it a law? They're like, hey, I'm going to make an ARPG. You got to make sure it looks exactly like Diablo. Because that's... And at that point, I almost feel like it's those, you know, like when the Chinese companies, they make a knockoff version of the thing that you're interested in. They try to make it as close as possible. So you might make a mistake and buy that instead, type of thing. That's what it feels like with all of these companies that look like Diablo-like, right?
Up for battle in between runs, choosing from maps with unique objectives and treasures, but the stakes are high because death means losing everything. Only successful extractions secure rewards, which can then be traded with other players. Lastly, they say that they're committed to a community-driven development and will be actively listening to feedback, with closed alpha testers playing a crucial role in refining the game and shaping its future. Speaking of which, they recently held the first closed alpha test. This took place last weekend. While this has since passed, it's not available right now. They plan on running many other future testing periods through the coming months up until a planned early access release for some point later in the year. Now, I will say one massive asterisk that's slapped onto the end of my interest in Project Pantheon is the fact that this is the follow-up to Vulcan Lords of Mayhem. If you don't recall, this is an ARPG that came out a few years ago and didn't quite stick the landing. I mean, I had some fun with the game when it first launched in 2020. I recall enjoying the combat well enough and having a decent time playing through the campaign. All told, I got about 50 hours of playtime according to Steam here. But beyond that, I mean, yeah, the game kind of fell flat, bearing this out both in the lifetime and recent user ratings of roughly 50% or a mixed score. Now, just because their last game didn't pop off doesn't mean that this one can't potentially be good, but just be aware this is the same studio that made Vulcan. Nevertheless, hoping, fingers crossed, that Project Pantheon turns out well. Okay, so there you have it. ARPGs in 2025. To recap, we got PoE 2 trucking through early access, and we expect a new league sometime in the coming months, which will most likely...
One game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games, and one of them look different.
Include at least one new playable character class and likely some new seasonal mechanics. Last Epoch is getting its second season.
All right, I'm putting it out there. I don't want a game like Transformers Reactivate, right? I want a Transformers ARPG. I want a Star Wars, Marvel, DC, something of a brand new Lord of the Rings. I will take a Lord of the Rings ARPG. Okay, give me something different. Lord of the Rings would be a little too close to what this is. Give me something different. I don't care if it's a brand new IP. Give me something that doesn't look like all these other ARPGs.
Season coming out in April with quite a few new changes and improvements. Definitely going to jump back into this one. Of course, Diablo 4 is expected to get multiple new seasons. I would assume at least 2 more throughout the year. And again, they originally stated wanting a full expansion release every year, so maybe that happens. Who knows? Grim Dawn should be getting its long-awaited next major update. And then we've got those 3 entirely new ARPGs with Dragonkin, Titan Quest 2, and Project Pantheon. Hoping at least one of these ends up delivering. Definitely some potential there, and I'm looking forward to trying them out. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you are a fan of the ARPG genre, this is looking like a pretty solid year. I mean, PoE 2 alone, right? Let's be honest. PoE 2 alone is going to carry the year for many who like ARPGs, if nothing else. And then we're getting a handful of other updates and releases that, at the very least, will fill the gaps between new leagues and PoE 2. Sounds good enough to me.
All right. Go check out Force Gaming's video. We love watching his stuff. He just gives a lot of different info and stuff like that. So spread the wealth. Go give his channel a like, a sub if you like it. That's Force Gaming. Description is down below. What is this? Let me see. It's 15 minutes for Matty Plays. Let's see. Does he show? Okay, cool. Should I watch Matty Plays? You guys put in more. We got. How long is Skill Ups? I like Skill Up too.
For a record 6 years.
He's just 12 minutes long. You guys want to watch Skill Up, or you guys want to watch Matty Plays for the South of Midnight type of talk here? Hand-on impressions. Papa says, can't do that, 30. We got to be like Diablo or Path of Exile, don't you know? I mean, it just doesn't it seem weird? Am I the only one that thinks this is weird? That all ARPGs look the exact same? I get that the gameplay might be different, but visually they look the same. You know when you look at Unreal Engine 5 type stuff, you look at it and go, it looks Fortnite-y? That's what that looks like. Not Fortnite-y, but that looks like, right? That looks like a Diablo. And it's like they all look like Diablo. They all look like Path of Exile. They all look like Diablo. Oh, this is going to be like this? All right, we have 25 people here. Let's go with a poll here. All right, poll. Matty Plays or Skill Up? Matty Plays or Skill Up? There's 24 of you here. Let's get at least 20 people. If you're working, just come back real fast. Who do you want to listen to? Matty Plays talking about South of Midnight, or Skill Up talking about South of Midnight? Excuse me. Got to release the DLC worth. They would also do more with it. The combat was fun. Yeah, make sure you guys are voting in the actual poll. Poll up on top. We got 8 votes. I'm gonna let you guys vote on that. I'm gonna go refill my my glass of water. While we're doing that, let's play a music while I walk away.
Just hit the scene, all the gamers hyped. It's the next big thing. AAA title or a quirky indie gem. What's the verdict? Oh, here we go again. Graphics are stunning, but the story's a sin. Gameplay solid, but it's just not fresh within. No matter how it shines or where it might land, IGN's got a score that we all understand. Graphics are stunning, but the story's a sin. Gameplay solid, but it's just not fresh within. No matter how it shines or where it might land, IGN's got a score that we all understand. 7 out of 10 is the favorite groove. No matter the game, that's our go-to move. Is it good? Is it drops, it's polished and refined. Fans say it's great, but they won't change their mind. Too much water, they cry, or lacks innovation. 7's their home base, their default station. Best game ever, or just okay. Doesn't really matter, they'll grade it the same way. From space epics to farming sims, that 7's lurking.
Come on. You guys didn't vote yet? Jesus. All right, 75%. We're going with skill up. We're going with skill up. All right. You got to vote. Otherwise, you don't get a say. All right, here we go.
Years now, Squarespace has been helping me turn my dream into reality. And that's what Squarespace does for millions of other people too.
So real quick, before I do this, let me add him to the description.
Their industry-leading website creation tools help millions of people start new careers, build new businesses, or just get things done. They're offering a special discount to viewers of this channel, so stick around to the end of the video to learn more. South of Midnight was revealed at last year's Xbox Summer Games Showcase. Remember that one where Xbox delivered banger after banger and it felt like the glory days of E3 again? Sandwiched in there amidst Fable, Perfect Dark, and Doom Dark Ages, it would have been easy for South of Midnight to have gotten lost in the shuffle, but it's a testament to the incredible presentation, art design, music, and characterization that this still managed to stand out. Of course, we shouldn't be too surprised that this one looked as good as it did, because it is, after all, from Compulsion Games. This is the studio behind Contrast and We Happy Few. Compulsion clearly have a knack
Oh, I didn't know they made We Happy Few. That was an interesting game.
for combining stark imagery and evocative narratives, which made a lot of sense given that it was founded by one Guillaume Provost, who had earlier spent a chunk of his career at Arcane. Microsoft acquired Compulsion back in 2018, and they immediately began work on South of Midnight. Some 6 years later, we'd get a really, really good look at it.
Has it been really 6 years since We Happy Few came out?
At the most recent Xbox Developer Direct, and I'm not gonna lie, I was low-key blown away by what they showed off. The initial reveal trailer didn't give away too much, but this deep dive showcased some truly inspired art design, and the Deep South setting was super appealing because way too few games choose to set themselves there. The gameplay showcase didn't look amazing since it seemed like fairly standard third-person action-adventure platformy stuff, but the visuals, the cast of characters...
The visuals look really good. So we're playing a game right now called Eternal Stranded. The visuals look really good. I like the visuals. I like the stuff that's going on in the game, but the gameplay itself is a little bit lackluster.
The music...
Hopefully the gameplay here, and we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago when we looked at this. The mechanics in this game kind of remind me of a Hogwarts Legacy magic user type of stuff. That's what this reminds me of.
The narrative themes being teased,
Come on, Rack and Sack.
all that stuff really rung my bell. So when Microsoft invited me to go hands-on with the game, I was very pumped, and I don't want to be coy, this did not disappoint, though it did sharpen my view that this one is very much about the vibes and less about the gameplay, but I'll explain all of that as we go. Just so you know the conditions for the preview, I played around 2 hours of it on an Xbox Series S console, and the footage that you're seeing here is my own gameplay. This is an in-progress build, and you can definitely tell because I certainly noticed a few technical issues, namely some frame rate drops and plenty of screen tearing, but Compulsion have said
I like how they made them play it on the S.
they're targeting 60 FPS for this, with the Series X aiming at 4K and the Series S shooting for 1080p. The section I played through...
Well, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out.
It was actually chapter 3 of the game, so I missed how the main character Hazel got herself into this mess. There were no capture restrictions, so I can show you everything I experienced. The game is arriving on April 8th for Xbox consoles and PC, and it will, of course, be day one on Game Pass. So, high-level take, I went into this one seeking vibes, and that is exactly what I got. There's a cinematic that plays at the start that really sets the visual tone for the game.
I really like the art style. I know a lot of you, I know Travis doesn't like the stop motion type stuff. I think the style, I love certain styles of certain games, right? The game could be shit, right? But just visually looking at this game, it reminds me of like Nightmare Before Christmas. I like that type of style. I don't want every game to look like this, okay? But visually, this game looks stunning.
Here, just take a look. So while the rest of South of Midnight doesn't look quite like this, the opening cinematic certainly sets the scene. This puppet-like, stop-motion, animated, animatronics thing immediately tells you that this is going to be a very visually led game. There's something arresting and unsettling about these images. It's not horror, but it's abstract enough that it flirts at the edges of horror, like Jim Henson's Dark Crystal or something.
It does look like Dark
obviously
Crystal.
Set in the Deep South. And that was the part that really got me on the hook here. I don't exactly know why, but I'm just really fascinated by stories set in the Deep South. There's a mythology around that region which, again, flirts at the edges of horror. Urban legends and the bayou and voodoo. There's a reason that stuff like True Detective and Resident Evil 7 and yes, Hunt Showdown all chose this as a setting. In popular imagining, it's a world that we can look at but can't truly see, that we can stand in without truly being there. We're always on this side of the looking glass until some book or film or TV show lets us pass through to the other side. That appears to be Hazel's journey here in South of Midnight. Like I said, I didn't get to play the opening chapters, so I don't quite know how she got here, but she's clearly stepped into a world that she's never seen before, and she's just...
I just like the little animations that they have. I'm okay with the little stop motion feel. Someone said a couple weeks ago that you could turn it off. So if you're a person that doesn't like that, I totally get it. But it's almost like playing a game. You know, I like playing a game, but they want me to play. Like, I like that there's options for people to shut things off. But for instance, I forget the game we played, but I'll do a game I haven't played, but people said it was awesome. Ghost of Tsushima. Okay. People love that game, but they also people that played it with black and white, and they also, right? You can play that in black and white, and you can also do it in the Japanese subtitles, right? And sometimes that's the best way, the way that you're playing the game, the way that the artist, the developers wanted you to play the game. Now, I totally get there's people that don't like to do that, right? I totally like the people that are going to shut off the stutteringness of the, you know, the stop motion feel, but I feel like it's part of the experience.
Trying to make sense of it. She has newly discovered powers in the form of her weaving. She's talking to a giant catfish who's suspended in the grip of a large tree that also seems to be a person somehow. She's exploring a swampy village where everyone seems to have been evicted for reasons unknown, and she's fighting malevolent shadows that move between realities. In Chapter 3, Hazel is still figuring all of this out, and it was cool to watch her grapple with all of that. I was super into her dialogue, her delivery, her overall character. Yeah, she was a fish out of water, no pun intended, but she wasn't doing what Austin Walker referred to as like the smirking protagonist thing, someone cringing at what was going on around her in the hope that she might placate a more cynical audience. No, Hazel is as skeptical and weirded out as she needs to be in order to make her seem real, but she also rolls with the punches, which invites us to do the same.
Would you kindly do your weavy thing and help me down?
What weavy thing?
Unquestionably, it was the characterization and narrative of this whole sequence that won me over more than anything else. Hazel is cool, the giant magic talking catfish thing sounds like Gambit, and I'm super into that. At one point, you meet a crazy hillbilly dude who manages to leave his mark in just a few lines of dialogue. Everyone and everything you meet feels like a lot of love has been poured into it. Same goes for the overall story, which I suspect will be the fulcrum for this whole experience. So the truth is, I played this for 2 hours, and the first 90 minutes I was like, okay, this is nice, but it wasn't really grabbing me. Then something happened in the story and I was like, whoa, okay, Jesus. It was very dark in a kind of gothic fairy tale sense, but also profoundly sad and very affecting. After that point, that event sets up a huge climactic set piece that involves a new explorable area, a chase sequence, and a musical number that recounts the events of the chapter in a melancholic southern dirge. So at this point, I was fully locked in, and when the preview build wrapped, I was like, okay, I get what this is now. To me, this is very much like Psychonauts, a third-person action platformer that uses each of its levels to tell a story. The gameplay is kind of incidental to the whole affair, but the game uses visual presentation, settings, characters, narrative, and music to tell these interactive storylines. And if the rest of the game's stories are as compelling as this one, then that's going to make for a great experience, I think. But yeah, like Psychonauts, the gameplay is not the focus here, I don't
So this is a platformer? An open world platformer?
think. So this is a third-person action platformer. When you're not watching cutscenes, you'll spend
I didn't know it was a platformer from what we saw originally, right? So that's interesting.
most of your time running around fairly linear environments, just jumping on stuff. It's very forgiving in its platform.
So it's not open world, semi-open?
Some of the stuff you're jumping on can look a little narrow, but when you land near the edges of it, you feel that there's plenty of invisible geometry kicking in to stop you from falling. So it's a platformer, but it's not one that's looking to ask much of you mechanically. At least it wasn't in this part of the demo. I don't know if it gets much harder later on. In terms of spicing up that platforming, there isn't too much that goes into it. A press of the left bumper allows you to solidify objects so you can jump on them. You can double jump. At one point, you unlock the ability to glide a short distance. Toward the end of the preview, I got the ability to wall run. Again, nothing we haven't seen before, and the implementation of all this stuff is pretty workmanlike, but it's very competent, and at no point did I feel like I was fighting.
What was the last game we did like a wall run like that? Oh, Jedi Survivor.
The controls or the mechanics, or that the game was trying to needlessly make
I'm sure there's other games. I was thinking about the last game I played with a wall run like that.
more difficult. Rather than be a focus of the game, it's clear that Compulsion are using this platforming as a pacing mechanism in between the cutscenes and the combat arenas. So the combat side of South of Midnight was actually quite surprising. This is a game centered on its story, with very relaxed, low-stakes platforming, and then you enter a combat arena and the intensity suddenly spikes to like 15 out of 10. It's quite jarring. The way it works is that you won't find any enemies walking around the world. Instead, you'll enter these clearly designated combat arenas, and when you do, the enemies will spawn in waves. They're no joke. They each have a variety of moves that force you to stay on your toes, dodging regularly to avoid their attacks. The more mobile enemies are particularly ferocious, moving in really fast and
Yeah, see, the combat reminds me of Hogwarts Legacy a bit, right?
aiming to surround you as much as possible. Everything deals lots of damage and takes a fair amount of time to drop. It's not easy. It's not super hard. Like, don't get me wrong, this isn't Ninja Gaiden or anything, but it's tricky enough that I died a few times and I had plenty of other close calls. It's a difficulty spike that doesn't feel fully aligned to the rest of the overall experience, but I do think that it helps the game's pacing, since it does provide a big shot of adrenaline in an experience that is often just coasting along at 60 BPM. I will say though that the suite of abilities at your disposal don't really feel fit for purpose at this point. Like, there's one that can kind of stun enemies, another one that pulls them towards you, and another that kind of knocks them or projectiles away. Given that all you can really rely on to deal damage is a basic attack, it does feel like these abilities should have had more damage utility, so I don't know if that comes later on, but for now, it does feel like your kit is missing something essential that would really tie combat together. So at this point, I've said that the levels are linear, the platforming is simple, and the combat doesn't quite hang together yet, so why am I walking away from South of Midnight feeling pretty jazzed about it and excited to play more? Well, it's for the simple reason that we come to different games for different things. Again, coming back to that Psychonauts comparison, everything that I just said about South of Midnight could also have been said about Psychonauts, and Psychonauts fucking rules. It's incredible. Like, hands down one of the best Xbox games and criminally overlooked. A good game isn't always good because it does everything well. Sometimes it can be good because it just does one thing really well.
Right.
And so far, I'm all in on South of Midnight's world, characters, music, and storytelling. It's sort of creepy looking, but also beautiful, and it's sad, but also hopeful, and it's fantastical while also feeling like it has its feet firmly on the ground. For me, South of Midnight looks like the perfect kind of game for Game Pass, and that's a phrase that gets bandied about.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that. It's a game for Game Pass. And a lot of people are going to look at that as well, yeah, it's a shit game, right? Because they look at it, well, it's a Game Pass game, so it's a bad game. And I've said in the past, I think Game Pass games don't need to be that 90, right? Because the budget of this game is probably not $250, $300 million. It's probably more around the lines of 150 to 200, right? And you don't need to get it on Game Pass to be a 90. You can get it like an 85 to a 90, or I should say 89, and it's a good game.
In a very derogatory...
I'm gonna rewind that for a second.
And it's fantastical while also feeling like it has its feet firmly on the ground. For me, South of Midnight looks like the perfect kind of game for Game Pass, and that's a phrase that gets bandied about in a very derogatory sense, like it implies that the game is not good enough to justify a box price and could only live on a subscription service. And look, sometimes that's true, sure, but in the case of games like South of Midnight, I think the term means something else. The fact is, people's purchasing habits have changed, and they're less likely to take a chance on new IP, particularly one like this, which is more artistic, less conventional. In these instances, Game Pass is a godsend because it lets developers reach a far wider audience than they otherwise might have been able to. Based on my 2 hours with the game, South of Midnight doesn't strike me as the kind of game that's going to sell 5 million units, but it does strike me as the sort of game that people boot up on a whim when they're browsing Game Pass and they find themselves suddenly and unexpectedly spirited away. And maybe South of Midnight becomes one of the best games they'll play all year, and they never would have had that experience were it not for Game Pass. Too early to judge, of course, have to experience the full game when it arrives in April, but yeah, I like this. I'm I'm really keen to play more of it, and at the very least, I expect that people who unexpectedly bump into this one are going to be pleasantly surprised by it. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.
All right, we're not going to watch his advertisement at the end here because it goes pretty long.
One question I often...
So check out SkillUp's video. So description down below, you can pick on his name, go to his channel, give it a like. So games like this, like he said, smaller games that are not going to be picked up. Let's say they were looking to get 250,000 people to maybe pick up the game and play it. Like if it wasn't on Game Pass and they just put it out there in the world, it could have sold 1 million copies, right? It still can sell 1 million copies if they want to. Okay. But with Game Pass, it gives them the opportunity of maybe it only sells 250,000 copies like they thought they were going to sell. But now 4 million people out of the 30 million or 5 million people try it, give it a shot. And then that's more people that are introduced to this. And sure, they miss those sales. But at the same time, those people weren't going to buy this game if it wasn't on Game Pass. And I think for a smaller studio, that's fantastic. One of my best games that I played last year, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was such a good game. And it wasn't a good game because it was on Game Pass. No, it was a phenomenal game. It was a really, really well done game. Now, I don't know if this game is going to be good or fantastic, but it's there to play it. We're going to try it. The Eternal Strands that we're playing seems pretty good, right? Now, I did say last night when we were playing the game that there's certain mechanics that go into a game, and it feels like it's a perfect fit for Game Pass, right? It's to keep you there, more grindiness in the game, not for a bad grindiness, just a grind in the game to like level up or get better gear or open up an area. It's 30 hours. Let's say it's a 30-hour game, but it's 30 hours. You're not sitting there for 30 hours playing it nonstop. It's more of a game like, oh, I'll pick it up later for the average gamer. So it gets you that next over 1 month over, so they have to pay for Game Pass to get again. That's the type of games that Game Pass or Xbox is making to put on Game Pass. This game seems fun. I think it's different. It's a platform. I didn't know it was a platformer. I thought it was just an action-adventure game, but it's an action-adventure platformer. It looks good. We're going to try it when it comes out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. Is South of Midnight something you're interested in? Does it look different than you thought it was going to be? You have no interest in it because of the way it looks. You have no interest because it's on Xbox, because it's on Game Pass. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. All right, wrong button. All right, let's go to... There's two other stories I want to talk about before we end today's show. We got quite a bit. This one is about Disney World. Okay, I don't know what this is, like what it says. We're going to read it here. Okay, it's Disney's concerns about high prices and guests' intent to return drops. Okay, if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just have conversations about different news stories. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay, I'm a local in Florida. Okay, I'm close to the parks. I go to the parks all the time. I like going, right? As a local, I have an annual pass for our price, what we get, and I can go basically 7 days a week besides blackout dates when holidays and stuff comes. It's very convenient for me to be like, hey, you know what? I want to go eat dinner. I go to the park. Hey, I want to go on one ride. I go to the park. Okay. But for the average person, for the person that doesn't live near us, that they try to go to the park, they're spending thousands of dollars with airfare, hotels, the parks, the fast passes. It's ridiculous, right? So when those people stop coming and less people come because it's too expensive, they depend on us. The locals that come in and spend money for a Coke or a coffee or going on a ride or buying a hot dog or whatever it is. Okay. So Disney's concerns about the high prices as guests' intent to return drops. A new report from Robbie Willen, as the Wall Street Journal updates a picture of price hikes at Disney's theme parks. The strain puts on the guests and the internal discussion of Disney on how they mitigate losing guests over pricing. Okay, as they were concerned of touring plans to collect the present data and how the pricing to play the role of decisions of Americans to visit Walt Disney World. Okay, so it's been updated on February 10th. The Walt Disney Company has issued a new press release, very likely to respond to the criticism of the Wall Street Journal article and resulting backlash against Disney's pricing on social media. Here's a response followed by the article below original written. Okay, so as Disney fans know that Disney Vacation has become more expensive and complicated than Disney Experience's chairman, okay, CEO Bob Chapek and other executives put in place rules of pricing and restrictions followed by COVID-19 shutdowns. Some restrictions have been lifted for some guests, but also Disney's most loyal fan base, annual pass holders, still have to deal with park reservation system and aims to restrict access above and beyond blackout dates already banked into annual pass tiers. They made it so confusing for us of when we could go. We've driven over there and we couldn't get into the park because they implemented a blackout date, extra app blackout date. They just constantly just do it, right? So a big area of where the cash grab has been undeniable is the billion-dollar Skip Alliance service now called Lightning Lane, previously Genie Plus. A pre-COVID Fast Pass Plus was our free offering, allowing guests to skip the line some attractions throughout the day. Now Lightning Lane Multi-Pass is essentially the exact same service, but with a price tag. A Lightning Lane Premium Pass and the most expensive tier of Skip the Line service maxes out at $449 per person per day. Let me say that again out loud, slowly for some of you, okay? $449 per person per day to skip the line, which was a free, like you just had to go in, put your ticket in the machine and book your ticket, right? And you can get on. Now you have to pay $449 to get in, okay? On top of your ticket price, okay? On top of your ticket price. The offering, such as the removal of Magic Express airport hotel service, was a huge loss of Disney fans, and removal of previously free offerings along with the continued introduction of price hikes has made Disney Vacation significantly more expensive in post-COVID. And once you go up, they're never coming back down, right? They're never coming back down. So the report of the Wall Street Journal says that some inside Disney worry that the company has become an addiction to price hikes, has reached the limits of what middle-class Americans can afford. The report says the internal discussion have become a more frequent. Disney is going too far with the price strategies. They're doing exactly, and the funny part is, okay, if you guys are followed us on this channel, okay, the Disney hotel they created for the Star Wars Galaxy's, Star Cruiser, they priced themselves out because, one, they made a hotel based on a trilogy that nobody gave a shit about, okay? Took $1 billion to make. They put in the wrong trilogy. If you put Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and Boba Fett and Han Solo, it would have made buku bucks. But they priced out the normal person to go to these things and only went for the high-class, celebrity, rich people, and that's why that hotel failed. Now they're doing the exact same format, but they're doing it for the parks themselves. I know we say this, or I say this, and other people say this, okay? Walt Disney would be rolling over in his grave, okay? He made a park originally so normal families could take their kids to the park and have a wonderful time, okay? When the park opened up back in 1972 here in Florida, okay, you could go for $5 to $7. Obviously, there's a lot more there now than there was back then, but now a day pass to Magic Kingdom is like $180 to $220. And if you want to go skip the line, it's going to be an additional up to $449 per person. Tell me what family, normal income family, can afford to take their kids to the park, right? It's insanity. It's insanity. Okay. So the reports say that the return in November of 2022, Iger's return, was concerned that Disney is getting a reputation of being too expensive, he asked. Damara, the upcoming list of things the company could bring back to fans. Damara says reportedly offered to suggest such removing the parking fee at hotels, adding more dates to the lowest tier of ticket prices, and it also could freeze the annual pass increase for tickets. Iger also liked 2 out of the 3 suggestions, keeping the annual pass price increase in place. This bastard, okay, this bastard every year raises prices. So my annual pass that I pay for, let's say it cost $600. I forget what tier we're on. Let's say it's $600 a person for the year. Next year it'll be $800. The year after that it'll be $1,000. The year after that it'll be $1,100. Right? They keep raising it a certain percentage. Well, at what point, if every year you're raising it 3%, 7%, 10%, whatever you're raising it, where does it stop? So 10 years from now, you think I'm going to pay an annual pass? You think I'm going to pay an annual pass of $2,000 per person? Like, get the fuck out of here, right? You think because less people, but they pay more money, you're going to be more successful. You're idiots, okay? Because they always need this price to go up like this. Not like this, okay? And that's the problem, okay? Guest intent to return plummets. The report says that Disney owns internal services of guests visiting Walt Disney World. Disneyland saw a sharp downward trend starting in late 2023 for intent to return. Indeed, Disney financials filings show the attendance of Disney theme parks was flat in 2024 compared to 6% growth in 2023. Disney still experiences post-record revenue and profits in 2024 thanks to an aggressive price strategy. Additional colors such as hotel bookings were flat in 2024, domestically 85% occupancy. The same occupancy figured in 2023 in terms of guests spending domestic parks saw a 3% uptick in 2024, and internal parks up 4%. Okay, theme parks admission revenues was up 7% year over year, up to $11.1 billion in 2024 from $10.4 billion in 2023. The increase in revenue was 5%, and also to average increase of average ticket prices, 2% increase in attendance. The theme park admission is also a large subsegment of the experience line of business, followed by hotels, cruises, $8.3 billion, and theme park food merchant of $8 billion. Okay, and let me tell you, these I'm gonna call it how it is. These fuckers, okay, at Disney World, at the Walt Disney Company, they don't pay for a lot of their stuff, right? They don't pay for their Coke products. The Coke products is given to Coke for free, and this is the way Disney says it. Well, it would be stupid of you not to give us this deal because we could go somewhere else. They could go to Pepsi and say, hey, Pepsi will take this deal, and we're not going to pay them anything either. So obviously, Coke is like, no, we'll take the deal, and they supply them with Coke for advertisement purposes, right? Because when you're at the park, you know Coke is there, and they don't pay, and yet they have the balls, Walt Disney World, to charge $5, $6 for drinks that they pay $0 on. Okay, that's because they need this. They don't need this. They need this. Okay, so here you go. Multi-day tickets, 2 days. Okay, theme park reservations required for each date of your visit. Okay, a park hopper, which means that you have to show up to one park and then you can go to another one, is $372. 20 years ago, a park hopper pass was $99. Just 20 years ago. Okay, now it's $372, and that's for 10 plus. Okay, 10 plus. Okay, a 10-year-old is charged the same price as an adult. Okay, 2 days, $292. 3 days is $452. 4 days is $580. Okay. It says, in terms of cost, Walt Disney World vacation data from touring plans says a typical 4-day visit to Walt Disney World has jumped $1,000 in 5 years, adjusted for inflation. The data collected by touring plans tallies that the cost of Walt Disney World vacation is $4,266. Okay. The report says that almost 80% of the jump in price is for things that are also previously free. While 20% of the cost came from Disney's rising prices faster than the rate of inflation, Disney disagrees. The report says that Disney argues that the same family of four could enjoy a 4-day vacation for as little as $3,000 before food and transportation costs, noting that the guests don't need to purchase a Lightning Lane pass to have a good time. I can go on a 7-day cruise with a family of 4 for half the price of what they're charging to go for 1 day. Okay. In a poll from Wall Street Journal, Harris Poll asked more than 2,000 households about the experiential vacation. 74% said the experience like cruises and theme parks are financially out of reach. For responses said that cutting back on Disney's vacation, 59% cited cost. 27% said that they were no longer interested in visiting Disney's theme parks, while 14% that they didn't have the time. Disney said that the poll was flawed and misleading. I'm sure it was, because you didn't like the answers. In June of 2024, Leading Trees surveyed 2,000 families. Around that, 45% of families visit Disney with children went into debt to pay for vacation. Guys, let me give you do what you want with your money. But if you have no money, do not go into debt to go on vacation. Okay? There is a lot of other things that you could do without going in debt because you want to have your 4-year-old remember Disney World. Let me tell you, your 4-year-old won't remember Disney World. Okay? Your 2-year-old, 3-year-old also will not remember Disney World. Do not go in debt for your 4-year-old. Right? Go in debt in other ways of your 4-year-old. Okay? In June of 2024, let's see. A rather stunning part of Wall Street Journal's report said that Disney Vacation Club survey this fall asked guests how likely they were to receive / manage an inheritance or experience a loss of family member or loved one over the next 5 years. Okay, while Disney's theme park vacation is still a rite of passage for many American families, the risk of losing repeat visitors starts the minute guests add up their expenses. Back in December, Disney CEO Hugh Johnston spoke about the importance of ensuring that Disney Parks vacation is part of the habit of families and not one of the time splurges. It says, quote, "We want to be able to tap into those families and build the habit of coming back to Disneyland or Disney World, not one time, but multiple times," Johnson said. Okay, in his written statement, the Wall Street Journal tomorrow talked about the importance of creating not only a memorable vacation, but an affordable one too. Do these people not understand that if I can afford to take my family to Disney World, I can, because we're real close, okay? My parents used to go to Disney World every 4 years. Every 4 years, we used to go to Disney World. And that's what they saved up and went back and then afford. And we would drive. We would drive down to Florida, because we used to live in New York, and we would go to Disney World. It was awesome, right? I remember the trip. I remember the stuff, okay? Then we did it when we were here. We lived in South Florida, and then we would drive up to go to Disney World every couple years. We went repeatedly, okay? What these people don't understand is they think that someone spends, my buddy who lives in Texas brought his family over, spent the airfare and the hotel were comped with points, okay? And the man spent almost $10,000 to take the family of 4 for 1 week, okay? Crazy. That's crazy. All right. So further, Disney said that the theme parks are within the financial reach of middle-class families, and the offers range of pricing a product to ensure that it stays that way. Year's round promotion also play a big part of Disney's pricing strategy. Disney says the majority of respondents of their own internal guest services offers great value for the price paid. That said, Disney says that it's also dealing with the growing cost of operating the theme park due to inflation. Disney also uses pricing to manage attendance, making it more expensive to visit during high demand periods. Right. It's like the toll that they added in the middle of the roads for a lot of states, where like if you take the toll from your house to the downtown during prime hours, it's like $20. But if you take it at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like $3. They just randomly just make it more expensive or not expensive. It says, as always, keep checking back to here with blogmickey.com to continue to bring out the latest news, right? So it's absurd that these companies think that, well, it's sort of like microtransactions, right? They would rather charge, $50 for a microtransaction and have 100 people pay $50 than have 1,000 people pay $20. You know what I mean? And it's just it's a concerning thing because, look, they can spin it all they want. I know what it is. I go to the park all the time. I see when it's dead. I see when it's busy. And even when it's busy, it's not as busy as they think. They make the times look like they're longer. They'll tell you that there's a time of an hour and a half wait. We get through in 20 minutes. Okay? So it's all a bunch of malarkey. That's right, malarkey. We're using old words here. Okay? Where they tell you that it's busy. They tell you that there's long lines. But it's all false. It's all fake it till you make it type of stuff. And they keep charging you stuff. And how pissed off would you be if you spent $429 to go on a fast pass? When you walk up to the line, you can just go in the standard line because there is no wait or a small wait. I would be pissed off as hell. But again, I think they're lost on what the middle class family is compared to what the rich family is. Okay, a rich family that could take a family of 4 and spend $10,000 on a trip is not your middle class family. I'm sorry, it's not. Okay. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Are you willing to take your kids to a vacation and spend somewhere upwards of $6,000 to $8,000 to $10,000 to come to Disney for a trip of 7 days? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat what you think is a good price and where do they price themselves out. We have people in the chat complaining if Game Pass went up to $25 or $30, they'd be out. Right? But yet these are the same people that would go to a park and spend $500 to go on a fast lane. I highly doubt it. Again, these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and thank you, as always. See you on the next one. Let me see here. John says, I do always wonder what Walt Disney would think of all these Disney adult vloggers with no kids or family. Yeah, it would be weird, wouldn't it? Because he didn't make it for them. He made it for kids. He made it for families. Robert Jones says free Coke product sounds like a corporate welfare. Yeah, they don't pay for it. Yeah, you can't bring in liquids. You can't bring outside liquids, Titan, into the park. Sometimes, if it's water, they'll let you bring it in, right? Because they got a lawsuit happen where you couldn't get water. You got to pay for it, and someone dehydrated and like passed out, and they had a lawsuit. So they have to give free like water from the not bottled water, but free water from the spigots, you know, from the sinks and whatnot. If you go up to a quick service, and you're allowed to bring in a water. They used to not let you bring in water at all. So you're allowed to bring in water, but you're not allowed to bring in outside products and stuff like that. It all depends on who's through security. Let's see. Dustin says it's a good deal. Let's see here. It's not normal middle class families. Yeah, it's definitely not normal middle class families. Huda Papa says struggling with inflation after calling people racist or not voting for someone is something that the raising prices because of inflation. With inflation hits the primary customers most. Right, they're raising prices. You know what's funny? We talked about a story about Sonic, how Sonic was being bullied in the theaters. Right, it was making more money in the theaters than the Disney films were. And I went through detail of why Disney has. Why they have in the theaters. They're basically holding theaters hostage because they put their movies in the biggest theaters, so the other movies have to go in the smaller theaters, okay? This is almost the same exact thing, where their movies are failing. Their movies are dramatically not making as much money, and we always talk about the 10 films, you know, the 10 films, and 3 make money, 1 makes all the money back for everything else, of the other 9 that don't, right? So 2 might make money, 1 makes a shit ton of money, and the other 7 don't make any money. The movies that fail, the parks pick up the slack. So the people that are going to the parks and paying overpriced for fast passes and the rise of ticket prices and all that stuff is covering Disney's cost of how they're losing money with Disney Plus and how they're losing money in the film industry and how they're losing money everywhere else. All the other sectors are barely making money or hurting, and yet the parks is what makes the money the most, right? And that's the truth of the matter. Let's see here. Disney movies sound like a gateway drug for kids now, funneling them into a high-priced parks. Rackham Sacken says, got money, ain't doing it. My son and I go camping cheaper, also a bonding experience. I hear you, man. I hear you. For us to take my family over here, we pay a total of, I think it's like $1,600 for the year. $1,600 for a year gets us basically 260 days of the year to go to the park, okay? We get free parking. We get to play miniature golf for free, and we get to go to the water parks for free. Okay, that's all included in the $1,600. That's $1,600 for 3 of us. Think about that for a second. $1,600 for a local. $1,600. I'm paying for the year what people pay 4 times in the week. In a week, if you came with your family, you're paying 3 to 4 times the amount I'm paying for the entire year. Right? You can't get better deal than being a local and being so close as we are. 20 minutes, I'm there. Okay, I can go in, ride 1 ride, and go home and be satisfied. Robert Jones says middle class is dissolving every year. Sarge says should be fucking lawsuit from the dehydration. Get the fuck out of here and fuck you, Disney. No food then. Yeah, you can't bring in food. Can't bring in food. You have to buy food into the park. They might have lightened it up on that. I'm not too sure about that, but yeah, you could probably bring in snacks for your like infant or something. You know what I mean? He says $400 fast lane is due to inflation. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, $400 for fast pass. Go fuck yourself. Sarge says. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. And here's the best part, right? There's so much construction going on and park rides down right now because they're updating and they're doing certain things. So you're paying more money for less stuff to do. Okay? You're paying more money for less stuff. Absurd. We have another article here. It's a small one. It's about the lawmaker in Connecticut wants to make theaters say what time a movie actually starts. Okay, so we're going to go over that in a second. Yeah, it's insane about, Walt Disney wanted to make a company or make a park average, normal family. Okay? The average family can't afford to go to a park. Not once, not ever. Like, they can't afford it. Like, there's so the stat of people going bankrupt to take their kids to is not a thing. Is not a false thing. There's people. We talk to people all the time. I'm a very social person. When I see people in the park, I see their kids, I see them. I'm like, hey, how long are you here for? They're like, we just got here. We're here for 5 days. Blah blah blah. You bullshit with them, and you're just wondering. I look at them. Their kids, like, one's in a stroller, never going to remember the fucking thing, and the other one is walking around and having a good old time. Right? Can you put a price on that? You can, right? But if they have the money, they're going to spend it. But for most people, they look exhausted. They look drained. They don't look like they're having a good time, right? They think that because they're at the happiest place on earth, okay, and their 2-year-old and their 4-year-old are there, and they get to see Mickey Mouse, they put a smile on their face. They're like, oh, yeah. Like, mom, probably excited about it. Dad's going, holy shit, or vice versa. Whoever's the breadwinner in the house is going, I can't believe I just spent $35 for a buffet and my kid ate one little piece of it, right? There's a lot of shit going on, and they're so stressed. You have to be, the moms have to make a calendar of, well, we got to be here at this time. We got to go over here at this time. They make the problem, and they sell the solution. The problem is, make it as complicated as possible to see if you can go on a ride, okay? And then the solution is, well, charge $400. So now not only did you pay $200 to get into the park, now you're paying $400 to be like, well, yeah, and here's the thing. If you're a family of 4 and you have 2 young kids, you can't go on the ride at the same time because one kid can't make it, right? Too young, too small, can't get on it. They're like, all right, well, I have to do on this. I have to keep my one kid here, and then we'll do a ride swap, right? And then you're there for like 40 minutes because you go on the ride, you get off, and you have to swap, and the other person goes on the ride, and then you do it again. There's so many things they don't tell you. It's such a clusterfuck, okay? You have to have some planner plan all your stuff for you, where you're going, how you get there, doing all these things. It's insanity. It's insanity. You know what I do? I walk in. I walk to the ride I want to go. I go, hey, is it too long of a line? Yeah. Go to something else I want to ride it, grab a snack, and I go home. I'm there 2.5, 3 hours. Best. It's the best. And again, I'm paying as much as someone pays 1/3 of the cost I'm paying for the entire year as a local, that someone's outside the state is paying $4,000, $5,000 to come for 3 to 5 days. Argus says, I've never been any Disney, and with the prices for that experience, I never will. Most likely. They're also for the average family, and they are fucked up. Robert Jones says, I got to go as a kid for free because of my brother had cancer. I barely remember. How old were you then, Jones? How old were you when you're at that age? Titan says, "Damn, I think I'm about it that way. I didn't think about it that way." Argus says, "With that many people in the park, it's probably actually terrible experience and not worth your money." But here's the thing, Argus: there's not that many people in the park. Before COVID, okay, there used to be, I think, a max of like 8,000 in Magic Kingdom. The max it gets to now, I think, is like 50,000, which is 30,000 less. And them hitting those people, those populations, is very rare. Okay, it is not that busy anymore. One of the busiest parks that you'll go to now is Epcot. That's because they either have a food and wine show going on, they have the art show going on, they have some sort of festival nonstop going around. Yeah, my son remembers stuff at 5. He doesn't remember anything else before that. Anyone under 5 is going for the parents, not for the kid. They think they're going for the kid, but the kid doesn't remember. 99% of the kids won't remember. They'll remember going to Disney World, but they won't remember the experience they had at Disney World. Like we went in December. We went in December, right before the blackout dates. We went to Hollywood Studios. Okay. We went to Millennium Falcon, and the Millennium Falcon ride usually has about an hour wait. It said 40 minutes, but I looked visually with my eyes, and I went, there's no way. It says 40 minutes. We walked in. We walked all the way through the lines, and We got to the top. We waited 10 minutes. It said 40 on the sign. We waited 10 minutes, got in, rode the ride, got out, went back in line, went back in the thing, and we went two times before 40 minutes was done. Maybe we passed a little bit, but it's like 45 minutes. We rode the ride twice, okay? It said 40 minutes, and the reason they do that, okay, the reason they do that is because they try to move people around. They don't want people all, but they lie about it because they want people to shift, move around the park. They control you by the numbers. Sarge says, new PC for the win. Let's go. Thank you, Sarge, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. All the super chats you guys give me, I'm taking that money and I'm putting it in a little jar. And when I have enough money, we're putting it towards a brand new PC down the road. So that's where the super chats are going for. The memberships and stuff like that. That's going back to the channel. The super chats and stuff. If you want to help, you can put something towards it. So appreciate that. Robert Jones says, I remember scary King Kong ride and the cowboy looking restaurant. King Kong ride is not in Disney World, Jones. That's in Universal Studios. So you don't even remember what park you were in. Paul says, I went to Disney Paris in December. Crazy busy. Eclipse says, I went to Disney World once. It was a horrible experience because I went there and I was like, the hottest time you could go. It was like 110 every day. Waterworld was the best. Not being able to just walk into the park is crazy. Oh, you were in California? But they don't have King Kong in the parks though, Jones. King Kong in the parks? I've never been to Disneyland, so I don't know. I got to look that up. I don't think. No, King Kong's never been at Disney. Are you sure you didn't go to Universal? I'm looking it up. No, King Kong rides are not located in Disneyland. They're located at Universal Studios. It's never been. It's never been. Argus, new PC, baby, $5. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Titan says King Kong was probably the random stranger you met. Robert Jones says, not idea at this point. No idea at this point. I did say I barely remember it. I was just gonna say, point proven. Point proven. You don't remember it because you remember King Kong. You remember a moment, and that wasn't at Disneyland. That was at Universal Studios. Well, the goal today is 5 for 5, but the goal, I didn't need just 5 super chats. That's just the goal for today, right? King Kong Universal IP. Yeah, it's never been at Disneyland. It's never been at Disneyland or Disney World. That's funny, though. You're like, yeah, I went to Disney World 30 years ago. I don't even remember it. I rode King Kong. It's like, that wasn't at Disneyland. Point proven, though. You don't remember. That's my point. They have a really cool King Kong ride at Universal now. It's different. Before it was that big, you saw like King Kong. Now it's like this animated like tunnel that you go through, and there's like this T-Rex battle that goes on with King Kong and stuff. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's funny, though. That's funny. I think I'm going to talk about this. Let's bring this up. So a lawmaker in Connecticut wants to make theaters say what time a movie actually starts. I mean, we all know, right? We all know when an actual movie starts. If a movie says 3 o'clock, what time, I know what time I get there, but what time do you guys think the movie actually starts? You guys have to take a guess right now. What movie or what time do you think a movie starts? If it says 3 o'clock, what time does it actually start? I think we all know this, right? The movie doesn't actually start at 3 o'clock. me see what you guys are guessing here. Brain says 3:15. Ads are crazy. 3:30, 3:45. No, it doesn't. It's not that long, Argus. Not that long. There's usually about 15 to 20 minutes of trailers, advertisements. If it's Nicole Kidman telling you why it's the best experience to be there, and then the stuff. Yeah, it's 15, 20 minutes. So if it starts at 3 o'clock, that means it starts at 3:15, 3:20. Okay. So it says, as in after the 23 minutes of trailers, ads, Nicole Kidman pre-rolls. Okay. So it says, according to a report, registered citizens of Connecticut, a state lawmaker is proposing a bill that will require movie theaters to post the actual start time of the movie. After all the trailers, advertisement, and other promotions are typically run first, we're all looking at you, Nicole Kidman. But why is it Nicole Kidman? You're going to AMC, I get it. The Senator Martin Looney of New Haven, Connecticut, proposed a bill on January 21st that specifically aims to require that each movie advertisement or listing includes a separately listed a scheduled start time. For one, the movie trailers and advertisements that precede the advertised or listed movie. And the advertised or listed movie. Well, here, I'm sorry to tell you this, okay? Ads are a subsidy for slow business, right? So people run ads on the actual thing before the movie starts. So while you're sitting in the theater, before the lights dim, before the advertisements come on, they make subsidized money by adding ads. So the people that come early, which is very less and less and less now, are watching videos, and then they get to maybe purchase the item or something that they see on the screen down the line, right? So movie theaters are expensive to run. I don't know if people know this, okay? And if you don't want to pay for $10 for popcorn, and you don't want to pay for, $10 movie ticket prices, well, I hate to break it to you, they have to make money. And since they're not getting a lot of people coming in, they got to raise the price. We just talked about Disney, right? Less people are going, more people, they're getting more money out of the people. That's what happens. If they got rid of the ads, because obviously if they post the real time and don't have promotions ahead of time, then less people would go to the theater to see these advertisements. And if they have less advertisements, that means less people would go, hey, yeah, I'll put an ad on your screen, because no one's in the fucking theater. So they're just showing an ad to nobody. So that would go, yeah, we're not going to spend that. So then what would happen? What do you think would happen if the theater didn't have ads to run before the movie theater ran, because everybody knows the actual time now? Okay. Then you'll have people complaining that, well, now people are walking into the theater when the movie starts instead of coming in early and sitting down so they're not blocking the screen for the first 5 to 10 minutes, right? Let's continue. So the movie trailers advertise and proceed to advertise listed movies and advertised or listed movie. It seems to be a abuse of people's time. It seems to be an abuse of people's time. I'm a little concerned here. If I go to the theater, I'm there to fucking relax, to watch a movie. I know for the next 2.5 to 3 hours of my time is going to be driving, sitting, and driving home. That's what I know, right? Like, are we living in an age where, like, you're just abusing my time? This is not like sitting at the doctor's office, like I said earlier, and be like charging the doctor. Like, you've been to the movies before, right? We all know the movies take 20 minutes after the ads start running. The reason to get there early is so you're not walking in during the actual movie start time. Anyway, let me continue. It says they want to get there early and watch the promos. They can. But if they just want to see the feature, they ought to be able to get there just in time for that. This senator, lawmaker, the senator, he probably brought his kids to the theater. He had one afternoon where he could sit down with his actual family and was like, what is this? There's ads in front of the movie theater? This is absurd. They're wasting my time. There should be a law. I will make it my law. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? You can show up 20 minutes late. Does he feel like he's lied to? They told me it started at 3 o'clock. Like, he's a senator. Has he ever been to a movie in his lifetime that he's blown away by 20 minutes after? I'm confused. I'm confused, chat. If they want to get there on early, then watch the promos, they can. But if I want to get there on time, On time is before the movie starts, so you're not bothering other people that paid their hard-earned money to sit there to watch your big fat head walk across the screen as they've been there early. Jesus Christ. Must not be a whole lot going on in Connecticut, huh, Martin? But hey, if we can sympathize, babysitters come by the hour. No one wants to rush for dinner reservations just for Nuvi. Okay? He says, when buying tickets at AMC website or in its app, a small question mark you can mouse over next to the movie's listed runtime says, please allow approximately 20 extra minutes for pre-shows and trailers before the show starts. Yeah, that's been like that since the beginning of time of movies. AMC is the world's largest movie exhibitor, but it is by no means the only one with such warning. Okay. A registered citizen spoke a few mom and pop theater owners who also proposed could be bad for small businesses like theirs. And it's also wrote in May of 2023, running a movie theater is more expensive than you can possibly imagine. That's right. These people don't understand how long it is, right? It's a convenience. They're like, I just want to show up in my underwear and just want to watch a movie and just, right? Like, it's a business. We have costs. We have to get things. You're upset because there's only 2 people working behind the counter with popcorn now because no one wants to go see a fucking movie because you're watching it at home. Okay? So it says announcing the start time of the actual movie would definitely disincentivize our business partners. Video messages, which would also have a direct negative impact on the financial stability. And we're already so challenging environment. That's right. Just like I said, okay? Just like I said, if people came late, then there would be no advertisements. If there are no advertisements, guess what? There's no fucking movie theater. I guess you would have plenty of time, Mr. Senator, to get to do whatever you want. Go to the movies. It's supposed to be an event. Do you guys remember seeing pictures back in the day when people look at this picture right here? Right? People are wearing hats. They're wearing 3-piece suits. When they went to the theater, they were going like they were going to a theater, like a play, like a stage show, like an opera, like a movie theater. They went dressed to the 9s and 10s, like they were going to some fucking award show, but they were just going to go see a movie of Mickey Mouse on the screen. Okay? Now, you're wearing flip-flops and sandals and shorts, ripped t-shirts. You're getting hand jobs inside the theater. You're getting popcorn buckets. You're like, all these things are happening. You can give 2 shits of what you look like in here. Okay? Everyone knows when you go to the theater, you're there for 2.5 to 3 hours. Everybody knows that the ads pay for or subsidize the stuff inside the thing. How retarded is this senator? How retarded are you, Senator? Robert Jones says, now I get how people feel when we went to video game laws. There was to be more important shit than this. $5. That's right. $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Robert Jones. Like, the senator's like, you know what I can make my running for? I'm going to make a little thing that already says, please, approximately 20 minutes before the showtime. This dude is so far beyond a normal person that goes to the theater. Probably doesn't even know his kids' names, I'll be honest. I don't know. It's ridiculous. 30 sounds like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Sounds like Falcon in Falcon. It went over my head, Krebsy. If you think that's stupid, the senator offered Trump a bribe to resign. What happened? Definitely had some action performed at multiple movie theaters when I was in my 20s. Sure. You can't wear a 3-piece suit for that. Okay? But I'm confused why this guy thinks that his time is worth more than anyone else's time. And he understands that if he makes that, it would disincentivize people for showing up on time. And then it would be a bother for people coming in the theater late. And it would also be a bother because the theater would not be able to afford, okay, because they make money off of these advertisements. I just don't think he thought it too much through because he doesn't get to go to the movies very, very often. Robert Jones says, I'm annoyed by the trailers, but usually use it to buy popcorn. Yeah, but we're not even talking the 23 minutes before. Like, you ever watch the Newbies or the Mendez, right? Like, that stuff's on top of the trailers. The movie starts at 3 o'clock. That's when the actual advertisements come in. Okay? So, like, advertisements for other movies. if you're watching a Disney film, you're going to watch a whole bunch of Disney trailers, right? If you're watching a Paramount film, you're going to watch a bunch of Paramount trailers. Or if you're watching a family film, you're going to watch other family like DreamWorks or whatnot, right? That's to get people to, oh, I want to go watch that. Oh, I want to go see that. But it raises a question, why do I have to pay to watch ads? You're not paying to watch ads. You're paying for the movie. The ads are there on top of that. You're not paying to watch ads. You can come right before the movie. You don't have to be there early. You could get there on time right now, knowing that 20 minutes before is trailers. Rocket Sackham says, my son and I always get ready for the movies during ads, talking about it, and trailers. Yeah. Imagine people just enjoying their time. Like, hey, that movie looks good. Right? Right now, Jones, you have the same ability as this guy is saying. He's like, to waste your time. You could get there 5 minutes before. You can get there 3 minutes before if you really want to. There's 20 minutes of movie trailers before it starts. It's been like that in my lifetime. You have the option to get there early or not. Ticket says it starts at 3. I get there before 3. I'm paying to watch ads. Jones, are you the senator in disguise? Have you been to the movies before today? Everyone knows there's 20 minutes. Everybody knows there's 20 minutes of trailers. Everybody that's ever been to the movie theaters, there's 20 minutes of trailers. You don't have to get there. If you decide to get there at 3 o'clock, if the show says it starts at 3, the show does start at 3, but there's ads there. If you don't want to see those ads, then your ass better come at 3:15. I didn't know 20 minutes. They show 5 to 6 trailers. Each trailer is 2.5 to 3 minutes long. 15 to 20 minutes. It's been like that all of my life in 46 years that I've been alive. Always been that way. You have a choice if you want to get there on time or late. The senator's just mad because they didn't give him enough hand job on the theater. I just think it's silly. It's already, you know what? Here, let me go to, let's go to Fandango. Go to Fandango. Let me see if I click on a movie. Okay. I click on a movie, 345. Okay, I'm going to go 345. Let's see, more info. It doesn't say there. I have to select the seat first. Here, I'm gonna pick this seat next. Policies. Age policy. No, it doesn't say that. Feeds include. If I go to next. No, don't need that. Nope, I don't want that. I'm sure it goes on past this point. I'm not buying a ticket, so I'm not gonna go through it. Up to that point, it does not say anything about reviving 20 minutes early. Let's see, 3:45. So the movie would start at 4 o'clock. Would start at 4 o'clock. I'm trying to see if there's another. Fandango doesn't do it. I think if you go to AMC, was it AMC.com? Oh, that's AMC. No, that's AMC Theaters. AMC movie theaters. Let's see. Dogman. Let's see. Merchandise, gift cards, offers, discounts, on demand. Get tickets. Select theater. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. It literally tells you right here. There's a question mark right next to it. It says, please allow approximately 20 extra minutes for pre-show and trailers before the show starts. It tells you right on the page. Right on the page. Just because a thing has been a certain way doesn't make it right. I'm annoyed with ads, but I also recognize unintended consequences. You don't have to show up 20 minutes early. I don't understand. You don't have to show up 20 minutes early. Most times it's not even trailers anymore. It's just ads. No. The 20 minutes before is trailers. Before the 20 minutes, if you're there 30 minutes ahead, you have 10 minutes of actual ads of like your local hair barber shop is up there, and then it gets into like Coca-Cola or other things. Falcon thing is at the end of the show, the Falcon walks up to the senator and says something like, "Oh, you got to do better. Yeah. You got to do better, Senator." It's usually trailers when a movie is about to start. Ads for a lot of those things are at the beginning. Yeah, that's before the 20 minutes. So if you get there before the 20 minutes, that's when you're seeing ads that you're talking about. Okay? The trailers are the trailers. That's 20 minutes before. If you get there before the 20 minutes, yes, you will see ads of arcade, go buy this, Call of Duty, whatever it is. I need to watch ads to support the developer. Sorry. Yeah. That's just what it is. I understand where you're going, Jones. You're like, I don't want to pay for ads. Great. You're not paying for ads. You're watching trailers, which are part of the movie. And if you don't want to watch the trailers, go to the bathroom, go to the snack bar, or show up right before, 20 minutes after, and right before the movie starts. Trailers are ads too. Trailers are different than ads. They are ads. You're absolutely correct. But you're not paying for the ads of like your local haircut place that's playing before, or a Mountain Dew commercial. Those are ads before the 20 minutes. The 20 minutes that they say and state before are ads for advertisement to come back to the movies to watch other movies that you might be interested in. If you don't want to watch that, then don't walk into the theater 20 minutes early. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. Close your eyes. Take a nap for 20 minutes. I can't believe that I have to pay for gas, and when I'm driving on the road, I take my eyes and I see a billboard. I can't believe that. I shouldn't see advertisements as I'm driving. Freaking insurance companies, banks? Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't know where you're going with this, Jones. I shouldn't have to pay for ads. You're not paying for ads. You're paying for them. Watch the movie. There's just ads there. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. It's really that simple. All right, what time is it? 1 o'clock? Holy shit. What a longer day today. We're not even going to have time to go through Twitter to see what's do the morning scroll here. I'll go down a little bit here just to see if there's anything going on. You're right. We should sue the billboard companies. Yeah. I also shouldn't hear radio ads while I'm in my car either, listening to the free radio that I paid for my car, but the radio's in the car, and they play ads. I shouldn't have to listen to that. Where does it end? Where does it end, Jones? It doesn't look like there's any. Oh, here it is. On sale tomorrow at 9 p.m. Available. You get the combo, right? So is this Captain America Brave New World combo bundle? Also available through Regal Crown. So you could buy this. You could buy this separate and buy this separate. Or you could buy a ticket to the actual movie and they get it. The only thing I complain about is if they turn off the lights to watch the trailers. I don't want to watch the trailers. So I'll just sit there and play arcade, and then I'll walk in. It's pitch black. I mean, you make your own problems, Eclipse. Again, if you don't want to walk in a pitch dark room, then sit in the room ahead of time. Or, you know what? I have an idea for you. Bring an eye patch. Bring an eye patch and play your arcade games with one eye patch on. Okay? And then when you get to the theater, remove the eye patch and you'll be able to see in the pitch black. There you go. There you go. I've helped you. You're welcome. All right. That's going to do it for us today. I appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out with us. If you like it, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to noon Eastern. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if I'm going to continue playing Eternal Strands on stream. We might play a different game tonight. But nonetheless, over on 30 and Still Gaming, our other channel, which is just video games, we're playing video games. So come on out tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate it very much. Go check out our 30 and Still Jamming channel. Go check out our Nerding with 30s channel. Come back, watch the past broadcasts of any other stuff that's going on here. Appreciate it very much. You guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.
Sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty, tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Laughs and news, our winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Come on in, your morning